voice of Master Chief, Spartan 117. And you're tuned in to Next Podcast. Now, wake me when you need me.
Trophies and friggin' 2K21.
All the trophies. I have like 139 victories in the career in that game.
I gotta give you credit.
That's ridiculous,
yeah.
Bud. Like,
what is going on, people? I know it's not Thursday, and I feel kind of weird, but it is a special night, a special time, and Next Podcast is definitely live. What is going on, chat? Great to see you guys. I know it's different here. It is different right now, but we're gonna mow through this. Okay, it's gonna feel like a Thursday by the time we get into the topics. For people who don't know, my son turned 18 years old this past week, and of course his birthday was on Thursday. So with that being said, we couldn't do a show on Thursday, but we were not gonna not do a show for the week. So here we are. Sunday, 6 p.m.-ish, and we got to get right into it, yo. So I'm going to start with intros, and I'm going to start with the man on the West Coast, man. He is all the way on the opposite side of the country. He has been gone for a couple weeks. I heard things about him going camping and whatnot. I don't know, but it is the Angry Otter himself, Dark Optimus. What is up, brother?
What's up, man? Not much, went camping in the Brokeback Mountains. And,
you heard all that, huh?
Yeah, I did. I heard all that stuff. Yeah. I heard you guys. I listen to the podcast. You guys don't think I do, but I do. So, what you say, goddammit? No.
Well,
it's all good. It was all fun.
It is good to have you back, brother. Like I said,
For
a couple
sure,
weeks off, so you might be extra energized. Not only was it a couple weeks off, but then we had like a couple days going from usually on Thursday, now we're on Sunday. So I'm expecting a lot of energy from you, brother.
Well, technically, you're gonna have 2 podcasts this week.
Oh yeah, that's
Ooh.
right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna hear you. I'm gonna hear you sooner than I usually do when it comes to this coming Thursday as well. So
True, man.
Yeah. All right. Well,
he's like regretting it already.
Yeah.
He's like, oh man,
what did I do to myself? Anyway, yo. Next on the list, we're gonna go from the West Coast all the way back to the closest panel member to where I live. Yes, we go by the Lord's time over here on the East Coast, and of course, he came up with the hashtag Crispy Truth. It is Crispy Bomb. What is up, bro?
Oh, it's been a while. What is up, chat? Yes, I have returned from the Brokeback Mountain camping as well, which is really weird. I didn't know, Dark, that you were going camping until just now when I went camping, and there's nothing to do with that, people.
Yeah, the the person that snuck into your tent at night, that was me.
But we did. We went camping and got hit by the tail end of that tropical storm, so that was fun.
Oh, shit.
I was
so it was.
during that, man.
Yeah, and there's a couple tents blown, way across the campsite, and it was interesting, but Saturday ended up being beautiful, and it was definitely enjoyable. And yes, it's great to be back, and we got some great topics, which with even the news that hasn't been great, I mean, I still feel like these are some awesome topics. So let's get into it.
Nice, brother. And next on the list, you guys might know him as my partner in crime with the other podcast on this channel. Yes, it is the Series X podcast. And yes, people, it does still exist. When we do a show that's like every other week, it just seemed that it lined up that every other week, like it was a holiday or something like that. So this show has been off the air for a while, but we are coming back, and we are coming back full force. I think you can look at this as a next podcast / Series X podcast, because the elusive gamer, aka Jamie Moran, is here with us. What is up, bro?
Hey man, happy to be here. We haven't done a show since before E3, so there's a lot happening since then. But yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about stuff. I can talk about PlayStation. Which
You
is gonna
said
be
it.
exciting.
I can't say anything. You said it.
And plus, I know it might seem like the news has been a bit weird lately, but we're always in this weird, like, post E3 drought. But I mean, I think the stories we have today is really exciting.
Yeah, I might if time permits itself, I might have a surprise one at the end as well. For all the Bungie fans out there, there's been some news circulating about a possible DLC drop. We'll get into that. We'll get into that at some point, guys. I invited Sir X-Man. I don't know what's going on. I know he's a part of the Discord, and I put him in where he can join the voice channel. So, Sir X-Man, if you're out there and you want to join, all you have to do is hit the next room under voice channel on the next podcast Discord page. That is right, people. We have a Discord page as well. If you follow me on Twitter, I put out the invite. If you didn't get it or you want to jump in on it, just let me know on Twitter. I will send the invite to you. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you should definitely do that, because I will be randomly throwing out that invite kind of like throughout the week and stuff like that, in between shows and stuff, to get as many people into the Discord as possible. Shout out to Mad Skills, again, my son, who is now 18 years old, but shout out to him for helping me set up this Discord. I think it came out really good, and it wouldn't have come out as good if he didn't help. So shout out to him for that. But guys, yes, we have to get into topics. Let's start with controllers, all right? Because it seems that Phil Spencer came out and he talked about the DualSense in an interview. And by the time that information hit social media, it seems like a lot of people ran with this notion that Xbox was going to rework their controller and put in things like, kind of like the responsive triggers. Even they're talking about speakers in the Xbox controller. But basically, there are people out there saying that Xbox is about to mimic the DualSense controller. I hope not. There might be some features on the DualSense that, they could mess around with if they so desire. But, when it comes down to it, one of the biggest negatives I hear about the DualSense is the battery life. Now, the PlayStation faithful out there, those extremists out there, they will tell you that is absolutely false. Their controllers last as long as they play games, and there's nothing wrong. But if you look at the reviews and stuff, even though they'll talk, about the features and how great they are, every single one that I've seen, the downside was the battery life. Now, let's go with Jamie first on this. Man, I haven't talked to you in so long live on a show. We definitely, it's time to cut it up a little bit here, bro. What do you think about this? Do you know what Phil Spencer said that got people to kind of think that Xbox was going to make, kind of rip off DualSense?
Yeah, so, like, Phil Spencer did mention the whole, the way rumble triggers and impulse triggers work on the, I forgot what they called on the DualSense, but basically the haptic feedback on the PlayStation 5 controller. And, ever since that controller came out, there have been people that have said they would like it. And, you have to think that we've had rumble in controllers in one way or another for decades now. And, people tend to like it. So, like, with the Nintendo Switch controllers, they had HD rumble, and that added a new type of thing to, the feel of games. But I think Phil Spencer was just taking all that, feedback in, because one of the things people have said is that they would like, better like haptic feedback. You know, you have to think about this. Microsoft spent hundreds of millions of dollars researching and R&D for the Xbox One controller, and the controller we have now is basically a perfected version. You know, it has a few minor tweaks, an added share button, some texture on the shoulder buttons, but other than that, it is pretty much, you know, an Xbox One controller, and that's like, to me, that was perfect. And you can tell that they didn't actually need to put any extra crap in, because if you look at the prototype videos for the Xbox One controller, they try putting a screen on it, they try putting a touchpad on it, and a speaker, and all that stuff. And it's like, there's a line that can be crossed sometimes where people will think, oh, that's a gimmick. Because remember, everything that the Wii U tablet did, and everything the Wii did, people called gimmicks. The second other companies start using them, like PlayStation, and start putting these gimmicks in their controllers, people are like, it's a revelation. You know, it's the best thing ever. The best thing since sliced bread and Strongbow, right? And the thing is, like, this happens every gen. This happens every time Sony adds something, you know. PlayStation comes out with the Wonder ones. People are like, it's amazing, but they were just Wii remotes. You know, the whole gyro motor thing. Well, gyro was around in the DS, and people were calling that, you know, a revelation with the DualSense. So when it comes to, you know, people wanting this, you know, people wanting resistive triggers is a bit silly to me, because I don't want another component in my controller which I can break. And this is just me, you know. I like the rumble as it is. You know, it gives you a bit of tactile feedback for when you're racing, or if you're, you know, playing a game with like sniper rifles, rocket launchers, any type of gun. You know, to me, I get enough feedback from the rumble. So I think it's just like for people that want more. Because if it's something you can turn off, like, you know, resistive triggers, then hey, go for it. But to me, it just seems like, why would you want that money invested in a little addition to, like, you know, making rumble, you know, more rumblier, the word. You know, why not put that money towards something else? And I get it, you know, people might pick up the DualSense and think, wow, this like little platforming game's awesome with all these, like, you know, haptic feedback stuff, but it comes to a point where that stuff gets old. I remember playing the Kinect day one thinking, wow, this is amazing, no controller needed. And I remember a month later thinking, okay, where's my controller?
Where's my controller?
So,
I need a controller game right now. Like, my arms are sore. Yeah.
And I think it's the problem that a lot of new devices have, or a lot of products have, when they come out with something that's air quote new. You know, people try it, they get used to it for a bit, and then over time, it's like if you play competitive Call of Duty, right? You don't want to play with resistive triggers.
Well, dude,
that
Jamie, real
seems
quick,
like the worst thing ever.
With you saying that, I hear a lot of people like, oh, you know, the resistive triggers when you're like firing a gun and stuff like that. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, but when it comes down to it, I can understand the whole bow and arrow thing. Like, the further you pull back the bow, like, the tenser it gets. I can see that with that type of trigger. But when it comes to a gun, pretty much, I gotta feel like all triggers are the same, and it's the kickback that's different when it comes down to it. Like, am I wrong on that? Like, how is one trigger more resistant? It's not really the trigger resistance that makes the guns feel different. It's like the kickback and all that stuff, right?
So I like to watch teardown videos of tech, and I've seen how the little motor works in the shoulder buttons for the DualSense 5 or whatever it's called. And the thing is, there's a little plastic gear in it that pushes up against a piece of metal in a spring. So let's say your gun jams in a game. Well, you won't be able to pull down the trigger. The problem is that the teeth on a gear wear out over time. So if it's plastic, or like something like that, it's going to wear out over time. And the thing is, if you press that trigger, even though it's like, you know, stops, you're going to wear out the plastic even more. It's like, so that's another component you're probably going to have to replace your controller for. But as of right now, the only thing you have to replace in your controller, if you have an Xbox One, that is your batteries, or use rechargeables, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I personally don't want another component that could break. And that component being something I don't need or want. Now, there's people out there that have said since, they would love these new, you know, HD rumble features or whatever they want to call it. The truth is, like, if people can search tweets on Twitter, like, people were saying this crap about the rumble triggers on Xbox One controllers years ago. Because on Forza, when you drift around a corner, you can feel the feedback from the road on the brakes. And it's like, so we just want rumble but more. Because PlayStation have it. And it's like, I get it. We're in this weird phase where the consoles are still new and shiny. But it's like, to me, it's just another gimmick. It's like, my controller already rumbles.
Did you get cut off, or was that pretty much it right there?
No, I ended up with a sigh because it's just like, I don't need Rumble more. I don't need more Rumble. Like,
No, I feel you on that, man. Like, I'm not downplaying the DualSense's features at all. It's just that I feel like, I don't know, it could go either way. Do you think that this is in the works, like at Xbox Laboratories? Do you think they're coming up with a controller like this? Just real quick before we move on to another panel member.
personally, I don't think they will. I do think they will put one thing in. It's been the feature I've seen people mention for the past 3 years, and that's gyro. Gyro aiming is becoming more and more popular. Xbox is literally the only platform that doesn't have it, and putting a gyro sensor in a controller, that can't cost too much, and they wouldn't have to make it any bigger or anything. So I think we will get gyro added and nothing else.
All right, I got you. And another thing is, like, guys out there, just you know what? I'm gonna go to the rest of the panels. They might panel members. They might prove this point. So let's go to Crispy on this one. Crispy, back home from Brokeback Mountain, he told Dark, we got to part ways for now, but we will be back next summer. Yeah. Crispy, what do you think about this? Like what Phil said, do you think that like there is a rework to the Xbox controller down the line here? And would you like some of the DualSense features on the Xbox controller, bro?
That is tough. You got to look at Xbox this way. They really, and Game Pass and everything else, they are not doing a lot of, especially exclusive games that are, standalone single player. There are a few, but in the thought process, a lot of their big games that are coming out right now are very much multiplayer. Would that work for a game like Halo? I don't see it. I see more people being mad about it. Would it work for a game like Gears? Same thing. Also, people are like, oh, well, Elite Series 3 could have that. Well, they already have where you can toggle down the triggers, so that's more for the competitive nature of it. I think Xbox has really innovated the controller designs, especially with obviously the series controllers. The latency and stuff like that, I feel is very important. The one thing that really kind of I just don't understand is that I'm starting to see that, these features that you should get with your PlayStation 5, especially being exclusive games coming out, you're having to upgrade to a director's cut or whatever and have to pay for that to get that feature, which really I don't understand. It would be like Xbox being like, okay, Gears 5 has low latency on the, just the standard series controller, but you have to pay for it. That's basically the way I look at it. And I'm like, how are people cool with this? I wouldn't be cool with it. Like, I've said many times, I find myself, especially if it's a game that really requires like that, I'm not natural at like, I play Gears. It's like I can mute it and just play the game, and I could be on a podcast. Like that's how it's like riding a bike type thing. And I find myself to pick up that series controller, the Series X or the Series S, the standard controller that comes with it more than even picking up my Elite. So the latency does make a difference, and I can feel it. They've upgraded. I do have the Series 2 Elite, but it is, it's still not quite as crisp. Crisp, yes, no pun intended. Then, going to the Series controller that came with the console, I'm like, why does this feel so much better? The only thing that really the Elite Series 2 gives me is the paddles, and I'm like, PlayStation, I mean, they dabbled with it with like I forget what controller came out, but it was a third party. I don't understand why they haven't, put paddles on at least like an upgraded version.
I thought,
you know what I mean?
When they came out with the PS5, because remember the attachment that they had on the DualShock 4 on the PS4 where it was just the back paddles?
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
they were getting people ready to
Mic
put
check.
back paddles on the controller. Yo, Predator, we can
Hello.
hear you, brother.
Yes, we
I've been trying to do
can.
mic checks for like 10 minutes. Y'all ain't said shit to me.
Well, he was right in the
Can you
middle of
hear
proving
me?
his point, Pred. I mean, come on, bro. You just want
I
to.
get that, but if I come and do a mic check and you don't say anything, how the hell am I supposed to know you can hear
I
me?
actually, I
That
didn't.
we
I
got.
heard maybe 2 words from you, like in between what Crispy was saying. I didn't know you were in there going crazy like that, bro.
Right, Brett,
Can
you sound
hear
good.
me? Can you hear me? How do I sound?
Oh, here comes Sir X-Man. Guys, we have a party tonight, people.
Dude, I just text you on your phone.
You did? My phone's
Yeah.
downstairs. My bad.
Just real quick. Everybody sounds good, by the way. Everybody's good. Good.
Thank you.
Just to finish my point, you know, I look at it this way. Is there a need for it? Absolutely not. There's not. The one thing I'll say is that if they come out with like a specific version, or you know they start adding this, but it's easily shut off because, I mean, at least Xbox gamers are really particular about their controllers. That's why I spent the $180 on my Elite Series 2. So what I think of is what's going to help me in the competitiveness that I play. And I feel like for those people that want that single player experience, that really go for that every single time. And there's plenty that you can, you know, most games that are on Xbox have a single player multiplayer if they're exclusive. So, you know, if that's the case and they really want to go after that single player, if they want to make that part of just the single player part of it, and they want to add that to, you know, even just, you know, the pack-in controllers, I got no problem with that as long as I can shut it off, because I don't feel like I'm going to be a fan of that. Now, that's not to say that anybody that likes it, that if you like it, that's great. I mean, I'm not trashing it. All I'm saying is, for me, I just like what I have now. And if you want to add little, like, you know, nuances like latency and stuff like that, that makes me happier than something like that.
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
for me.
No, definitely latency is a big thing. I would rather have latency over like these kind of tension orientated kind of like triggers and stuff like that. And another thing I would say is, if they decide they do want to do that, they have to go back and kind of redevelop, like put in code to use those features. And you were talking about the Series 2 Elite controller. That all of a sudden people were spending $180 for a controller, and that came with them into the series generation, and now it wouldn't have all the features. So I don't think they're gonna do that. I really don't. I think it's too much time. It's too much. Oh, we got to catch up. I think it's just.
I like my lock triggers on my Elite too.
Well, yeah, but no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that dual sense where, like, if you're pulling.
I don't care about that. I know what you're saying. I mean, to me, a controller is, as long as it works good and it feels good in your hand, and the game you're playing feels good with it. That's the most important thing to me. I knew you were gonna go. This isn't golf bot. We can't talk like that.
Dude, 139 victories in my career in golf, bro.
Until I play you.
Well, I said my career. I didn't say online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, brother,
But yeah, like I'm saying, it doesn't matter, dude. I mean, if it feels good in your hands, the controller, then enjoy it. I enjoy my Elite too. Some people enjoy regular controllers. Some people love the DualSense. It's all a perspective on what you like. Some people like mouse and keyboard.
Nah.
Okay, that's what you like. You know what I'm saying? I don't like mouse and keyboard. So I'm letting you know, Bob, so you don't get mad when I play on the PC.
Yeah, you
with the
PCMR.
Xbox.
That's what you are.
But I mean, look at Pred. I'm sure he's got some games that he plays with mouse and keyboard, and some games that he plays with controller. You know.
I guess there was a developer update to the Crossfire X campaign. No, Ernie, I did not see that. I will definitely dive into that though. I'm really interested to see what they're doing for a campaign for that, brother. But yeah, so everybody, please welcome Sir X-Man. Sir X-Man, is good to have you on our first episode using Discord as well. And speaking speaking of first episode using Discord, my brother Predator, who called me a crappy ass podcast host in the chat. Yo, Predator, what is up, bro? And we can't hear him again. Look at that. Look at that.
Clear indication that he was not wrong about that.
What?
What?
I am a decent host.
I say that out loud?
Oh, shit. Oh, my goodness. So let's see. Who is next here? Yo, well, Dark, you're next on this, man.
Am I good now?
Oh, there he is. Pred, what's going on, man? You disappearing? You're going like...
It keeps switching between my Yeti and my Xbox wireless headset for some strange reason, so I'm popping in and out. But I think
you're getting really low, bro.
Yeah, I'm using the fucking Yeti again because my Xbox headset won't work. But I'm adjusting settings now as we go on the fly here. So
on the
fly, you
fly.
guys can hear me. Is this better? I have to put it in my mouth.
Yeah, you definitely got to put it in your mouth, sir.
Nah, you sound good over here, dude. I'm monitoring.
This is Xbot and his fucking hearing.
I'm monitoring, and you sound good, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the spot.
Yeah, but the people hear what I hear, not what Sir X-Man hears. So if he's coming in low on my side, I have all the volume. Hold on, go ahead, talk again.
Yeah, talking.
All right,
talking,
you sound better.
Talking.
All right. Oh,
It's that 3060 Ti I got, man.
Oh my goodness. Yo, Pred, we will get to you in a second. It's good to have you on, brother.
Wow. You call me and then you tell me I'll get
well,
back
I did say hi and put you on blast for calling me a crappy ass like podcast host.
Well, you know, the
Mr.
I interrupt everybody when they're talking has a problem interrupting someone when they're talking when someone's doing a mic check. So yeah, that's why you're a crappy host.
Yeah.
Continue.
I don't interrupt anybody. I don't know what you're talking about. But you are You are interrupting Dark Optimus right now, and he's gonna get mad. He's gonna come to your house, bro.
No, actually, Fred
to his OnlyFans.
Actually, Fred was first, and you thought he was gone when the mic was messed up. Then you skipped up to Dark. But Fred
Dark was on time though, so Dark gets to go first.
Wow.
My fault. You use the East Coast time.
Yeah,
that was on me though.
Hey, I'm going to mute. Go ahead,
side
guys.
Note, next time a member is not here on time, if my name was K Mega, you would have sent out an alert.
That's true.
That is true.
Not one person contacted me and said, "Hey, Fred, where are you?" You know, just saying, crappy host. Continue.
Points proven. Points proven right there. Yo, Dark, what do you think about this whole DualSense thing? Do you think Phil Spencer was hinting that they have it in the works? They're gonna make an Xbox with these features. Do you feel like I do, man? I feel like that's just gonna add development time to games that were already developed and stuff, just to kind of like put features in there. I don't think it's gonna happen. But would you like to see that? Would you like to see an Xbox controller with some of those features in it, bro?
Here we go again. Xbox and their fucking controllers, man. every fucking time, dude.
We got new controllers for you guys.
Yeah, we got new controllers. Hey, you know what? Next year you're gonna be like, we got another controller, guys. It's like the DualSense. And we're gonna be like, oh, okay. But no games,
Oh, what are you talking about? No games, man. Did you not see Forza Horizon 5 coming out this year?
I saw all that stuff, man. It was an awesome show.
Okay. Man, don't make me, bro. Don't make me, man.
Hey, I haven't been here in a while, so I gotta give the Xbox fans some shit. But yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I don't see Xbox wanting to do something like this. It's unnecessary. There's really no reason for you to even do the things that PlayStation is doing with their controller. I mean, the controller is great. I mean, it is a great controller on the PlayStation side. But the haptic triggers I turn those off. Honestly, I turn them off even when I'm playing some of their first party games. Like there's when I was playing Ratchet and Clank, I had it on for a little bit just to see what it was like, and then I turned it off because it just bothers me because when you're shooting, it recoils back at you, so you're feeling that trigger going back to your finger, and it's just it's like going back between your finger and you shooting. So it's like It's just an annoying feature. I think people are still in the honeymoon phase of these consoles, and they're thinking to themselves, "Well, I think Xbox needs to do this, Xbox needs to do that," and that's not even the case, man. I think what Xbox is doing right now is great, for what they're doing, and then what PlayStation is doing for their community is I mean, they could work on some things like the whole director's cut things. I
Yeah,
think
well, they can work on some things.
yeah, I mean, they're doing okay. I mean, they're doing good. I mean, they are putting out exclusives that people want to play and things like that. That's a good thing. But
People want to play for like
these
the first 2
whole
weeks, and then you don't hear
well,
about
I
it
mean,
anymore.
well, that's the thing. Ratchet and Clank's not a very long game, so of
I heard
course
you
they're
could beat that in one
fine.
day. Like,
You could. You
Oh,
you honestly
wow.
could. It's not very hard. To get the platinum, maybe not so much that you could beat it in one day. Depending on how good you are with your skills, or how high you have the difficulty. But I think the whole director's cut thing. I have to agree with Crispy on this one. There's no fucking reason for them to charge you $30 for haptic feedback in your controller. Like,
well, it comes with
it's
content.
already a
Though.
feature.
It comes with content.
I know it comes with content, and I understand that. That's fine and dandy, but what's the excuse of Death Stranding? There's no DLC added, anything really.
Well, no,
I mean,
there is
I know.
content added. There's new missions added to Death
Is there new
Stranding.
missions? Is there new missions?
There's new
Okay, I
missions.
didn't know that.
There's like gun turrets now.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
actual fun
I guess
combat.
there are good I guess they are adding some stuff, but like it's just for me personally, I liked the whole free upgrade thing, and I feel like that's pretty much out the window now.
Ooh, damn,
with
Ernie,
it,
really 4 to
you know.
6 hours? Like Ernie in the
For
chat
what?
said Ratchet and Clank is like 4 to 6 hours long. He said it felt like DLC.
I wouldn't say it was 4 to 6 hours. I think
hope not, man.
if you're trying to do everything, no, it's not 4 to 6 hours. But if you're running through it on easy, yeah, you could probably beat him for 4 to 6 hours for sure. Like, yeah,
Most Ratchet
I mean,
and Clanks, I've played them, so I know what you're talking about. Hey, you normally take 12 to 14 hours to beat on average. If you go
on
straight through.
average.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think this whole like mentality of that Xbox has to do what PlayStation's doing, and what PlayStation's doing, and what Xbox is doing was what PlayStation needs to do. That needs to go out the window. People, have certain tastes. If somebody wants to play on a PlayStation, why would you want it to be like an Xbox? If that's because at that point you're not getting anything from it. It's going to be all the same. It's going to be the same thing. You're just going to go out and you're going to buy a PlayStation or an Xbox, and you're going to be like, oh, okay, they're both the same. I have no reason to buy the other one. I like the fact of having a reason. I don't look at it as a reason to spend money to buy a new console or whatever. I look at it as like, oh, you're giving me a reason to go out and buy that. Oh, okay. I'll think about it, and we'll see. If I have the funds to do it. And I understand that a lot of people don't have the funds to do that stuff. So it's understandable. You got one console, and that's all you want to play on, or that's all you can afford to play on that. There's no
Dark,
reason for this controller to cross over to Xbox. There's just no reason for it.
And what
do you
Go ahead, sir.
do you think that, like, I feel like the biggest feature, like, I understand that there's DLCs to these games and stuff, but it's not quite as big as you would expect as a DLC. Like, they're not really going after that.
Right.
They're really, like, even like in their wording, they're like you get the haptic feedback and this and that, and I'm like, you should have that already, at least as just a general update to the game. If you have a PlayStation 5, you should just have that at the least. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm confused. I'm like, dude, like, you're kind of you're kind of screwing people that purchase your brand new console. Like that's the way I would feel if I had one. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the game did get a 60 FPS update and things like that. So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to go out and buy this version of the game. I'm personally not going to do it. I'm not going to buy the Death Stranding one either. I have no reason to. I want to play stuff that's new, especially the stuff that's coming out this holiday season. There's so many things that are coming out that there's no reason for me to buy a game that I played last year or the year before. You know, so it's a waste of time and money, and people are eating it up because it's PlayStation.
Yeah, and my thoughts on that real quick. Like again, they can easily just add an update that put all the DualSense features, ray tracing, any of that stuff, the graphical kind of like improvements. They could have just put that as an update. I agree with you on that. And then the DLC itself charged for that. Like I think that would have been the most kind of like pro consumer thing, but. Sony's trying to make money, and there's a lot of people out there that are, they're gonna buy those games, man. Unfortunately, but yeah, maybe if enough people say something, then kind of like moving forward.
I doubt it.
Yeah, never mind.
Honestly,
never mind.
I doubt it.
Never mind on that. But Predator. Yeah, we're kind of bouncing back and forth here. We are talking about the whole DualSense thing with Phil Spencer. That people kind of ran that, Xbox is, they're in the labs right now, trying to mimic the DualSense controller for an Xbox controller in the future. What do you think about that, man? Would you want something like that?
I will say there's some parts of the controller I do like, but I don't think they need to be honest with you. I mean, I have an Elite. I love it. It's not like I've used the DualSense. I didn't really particularly like the controller, and it isn't just like the placement of the thumbsticks at all. Like I didn't like the haptics part of it. Like I was trying to play Call of Duty with it, and and I don't like the trigger squeeze on it, the way you pull it. Like it didn't like resonate with me very much as a gamer. It just seems like sometimes it could be a full squeeze, sometimes it could be like a half squeeze. It would be like taking the Elite controller and switching that button underneath automatically
for the hair triggers. Yeah,
you can have the full squeeze and you have the short squeeze. So like, and not knowing it's gonna happen. So I particularly didn't like it. I like the controller the way it feels. It feels a lot better to me than the last PlayStation controller. Just holding it in my hands, but like I'm still always gonna go back to, that Elite version 2. Even the 1 is better to me, but I'm used to that. So like but the games I played on PlayStation, it's not familiar to me. It takes me a while to get used to that controller. Once I do, I'm fine. But I didn't like the haptics on there. That's the one thing I didn't like. Is the thing that everybody's like, oh, this is great. I didn't think it was that awesome. I will say, when you have features like this, whether it's the rumble, the haptics, and stuff like that, and you go and you start playing on a system that doesn't support them, you definitely can tell the difference. So like, I've tried to play on xCloud, and xCloud doesn't let you utilize the rumble feature. At least the games I've played, when I actually tried it, they're not there. That's the first thing I noticed. Like, why isn't this thing shaking when I'm playing Forza? When I'm on this, this dirt road, I should feel that rumble happening. It doesn't support it. And a lot of PC games don't support the haptic triggers and stuff like that on the PS5. So I think only 2 games actually do at this point. And don't ask me which ones they are. But I haven't utilized it enough to say, yay or nay. But what I've played, I didn't enjoy. I know like games like Returnal, I've heard people talk about Returnal using it, and using it very well. I haven't played Returnal, so I can't answer that question for you. Maybe Dark can.
What?
That game. Returnal.
Oh, I hated that fucking game.
I know, but when you use the controller with it, were there like features of the controller using the controller that actually made it like it interacted with the
Pred,
controller?
I hate to say this, you are really low volume, sir.
I'm sorry.
That's better.
I heard what he said. Yeah, it does, but it's. I mean, it's not that cool. Like, it's cool, but it's not like, oh my god, I want to fucking use this all the fucking time. You know, it's not like that.
Well, like with any, and I'm talking loud here, so I'm sorry.
No, you're perfect now, dude.
I'm gonna try and switch mics after this portion of my segment here. But what was I about to say? Like with these controllers, something that always seems to happen is that like they don't support everything that these controllers can do. Like, when was the last time you PlayStation guys have had to blow in your controller?
You
know, like
that's a great.
It's funny when I say that, but that's a feature they added.
Astrobot.
Astrobot,
that was
right?
about
and
it.
That was at launch, and nothing else has come out for it. So, not saying they won't ever support the haptic. I mean, I think that's why they put it in there. Just like they developers use the rumble mechanisms and stuff like that. Like, it's gonna happen going down the future. But I want to see it implemented in other games, not just the first party, because a lot of us don't play just first party. We play a lot of third party games too. So, when Call of Duty or Battlefield comes out, I want to see how they implement certain features of that controller into that game. But I don't think Microsoft technically has to. They have a great controller as it is. Now, can they take some stuff and be like, okay, let's do this? We like the way Sony's doing this with their controller. Like, maybe they'll have a touchpad or something like that. I mean, maybe instead of this a circle with an X in the middle of it. So maybe they'll take something like that out of it. But and they could easily take the Elite Controller 2 and make some things out of that controller standard. And because everybody doesn't have that kind of money to just blow, on a controller 2, the Elite 2. So, like, they can put some of those features into the base model controller that a lot of people have never used before. I mean, if you've used both of them, you can definitely tell the difference between the Elite 2 and the standard Xbox Series X or S controller.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can tell it, and that's why everybody touts that controller as like being one of the best. I mean, like, and I heard Sir X-Man say earlier, I typically play on keyboard. I actually don't on PC. I actually play more. I suck at keyboard and mouse. I play.
So do I. Yeah, I'd rather use my controller.
Yeah, I play 99.9% of my games with a controller, with the exception of the ones that I may be able to kind of mix between the two. Like, I'm gonna have to use a couple of buttons or something like that on the keyboard to kind of fast change things. But for the most part,
I know what you're talking about, like the add-on key features and stuff like that.
Sometimes
Yeah,
it's easier to hit that button.
it is. And program the button. Say, okay, just let that be the space button because it's right there. Okay, that's easy to get to. Yeah.
Like the majority of my games I'm playing on PC, I'm using a controller with it. But
I know. Or my 360 controller I'll use. It actually works great on, for some games on the PC. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to switch mics. So if you guys hear me do a sound check, that's why.
Okay. I'll be listening for it this time, brother. I will. Right. Me and my crappy ass podcast hosting skills.
Well, stop being so crappy, dude.
But I like the way your stream looks, though, in the background, dude. You did a good job for just bringing this over, dude. That's your screen now is so clear and crisp now.
Ooh.
Running it this way, dude. I saw what game you were playing, that scary game before that. That was clean, dude.
Ooh.
There was no choppiness in it or nothing. There's no choppiness in the Destiny either.
So what he's saying
on my other screen
is that before it looked like shit.
No, it was good, but he had no, but he had everything on that tinier screen, and that tinier screen, didn't really show the most definition. I see more definition now on this stream than I've ever seen on this show.
Well, this is a show where the gameplay does come front and center. I know some shows they like to move it over to the right hand side or whatnot. I like to have as much gameplay on the screen as possible, and really.
And you still got your logo. Even your logo stands out now, dude. Even much better, man. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, bro.
I appreciate that, brother. I really do, man. I put work, and you know what the funny thing about that is? I'm thinking about. Tweaking it as usual, Sir X-Man. I'm never happy.
I know, because you're on a new platform now. You got to figure out ways to manipulate it now. I know.
I don't like using the word manipulate, man. That sounds bad, but yeah, exactly. Guys, I think we should move on to the big news of the week because it seems.
Yeah, I'm going to pre-order mine if I can.
It seems that Nintendo's worst nightmare is coming to fruition, and not only that, man. With the announcement of this piece of hardware and the pre-orders going up, conversation has swirled about Xbox and Game Pass with this device. What Sony and PlayStation are going to do because of this and whatnot. My buddy RG Viper X in the chat talked. He had his reason for pre-ordering it, and it was something I could not even argue with. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about yet, it is the Steam Deck. That is right. It is a portable, powerful device.
The mighty Steam Deck, yes.
That you could complete with ray tracing, man. Like the specs on this thing are kind of insane. I got them right here. You're looking at a Zen 2 4-core 8-thread processor, going up to 3.5 gigahertz. You're looking at RDNA 2 GPU, 8 compute units. So you're looking at like 1.6 gigahertz.
8 cores, yeah.
Ooh, up to 1.6 T-flops, guys. Guess what? We got T-flops are in the house again. Yes, we can talk T-flops at another point in time. But they're talking about ray tracing on this thing. And, of course, your Steam library. That's what the Steam Deck is. That's what they're really kind of like marketing. You can play your Steam library portable on this powerful device. Sir X-Man, you pre-ordered this. You pre-ordered this.
No, I want to pre-order it, but it was gone.
Oh, it was gone. So you didn't get a chance to.
It was gone, dude.
It's
was
like
only
$400, right?
No, it's $5 for the pre-order. The one I wanted,
the actual cost.
$651. There's a $400 one.
That's
the one with the 64 gigs. 64 gigs.
64 gigs. Okay, storage.
There's 64 gig storage. Then there's the other one is $550. That's the one with the 262 gig MVU though. It's got one of them MV drives in it. Right, NVMe. And then for $650, which is the one I want.
Of course.
Shut up.
It comes with Velocity architecture.
I know it comes with 512 MVU.
And
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
NVMe
SSD basically, right?
I can't never get that out right. Well, NVMe SSD, yeah. And that thing is going to be beast, and that's the one I want. And don't forget, if you got Steam, you can also play Halo. Well, a lot of Microsoft games are on Steam if you don't want to get the Windows on there.
Well, yeah, I think we're going to get into that, but I was going to ask you the main question because this is a portable. Like what?
Yes.
What is the main hook for you to want to pre-order this? What is the interest? What got you excited about like this new device, man?
I have to say this. It has more modern games than the Switch does.
Ooh.
I gotta be real.
So instantly comparing it to the Switch because the Switch is a handheld, right?
Yeah. Switch is a handheld, but most people I know have it docked. And this is one thing about the Steam Deck that a lot of people don't know. When they come out with that dock, or you don't have to hook it up with a dock, you can use USB-C, hook it up to your it has built-in Bluetooth. You can hook it up to your TV with a USB HDMI until they get their hub, and you can use it as a PC, and it'll work just like a real console, like the consoles we have today. It'll look just as good, and it'll go at 1080p on the piece at home. So on the console it's 720, but when you run it to the television with all that power, it can run it at 1080p. I don't know what frames per second yet. They haven't got to that detail, but it'll look just as good. Yeah, so you got a portable PC. That's beautiful.
That's crazy. That's crazy right there. It can do so many different things. Yo, shout out to Viper X in the chat. He says, play Xbox Game Pass, PlayStation exclusives, and Nintendo emulation all on one handheld, the best version of multiplats on a portable device. Now, I'm glad you said on a portable device, because then you are absolutely correct on that. But, damn, now, yeah, I can definitely see
the appeal.
I could definitely see the hook in here. And 3 different versions starting at, as low as $400 up to $660. And the $660 for people who can swing it, I mean, that's a lot more memory. It's a lot faster memory.
You're going to love this part. You can play Destiny on the fly.
Actually, you
60 frames at 60 frames a second on this thing. I know I can do it with xCloud too. I know.
Well, no. When it comes to Destiny, there is something with the Steam Deck right now that's a little bit of an issue. Some of the anti-cheat software that is built into the games, they're having an issue playing those games on Steam Deck. So
yeah, but if you update that's because of Linux. It's Linux issue. But if you change it over to Windows, you change it over to Windows 10, you'll be able to do it because it has the encoding for it, and you could just go to Microsoft Store. You know how you can do a Game Pass through the app, and then you can just download Destiny from there and play it there.
Okay, all right. So there are definitely workarounds. Like
right. But I would go to a computer guy, to have them upgrade you. I'm not going to do that myself. I'll take it to a tech shop and have them upgrade me to Windows.
I got you. So real quick before I move on to the other panel members, I just got to ask you this, because we all remember the Steam box that they tried to come out with. They had different companies kind of
that
making
was crap.
What makes this like more enticing than that? Like, did they learn their lesson from the Steam box and they like
Yep.
Yeah, like what is it the portability that's going on? Is that the big thing? The power, like what's the main hook here?
It's the portability. It's the big 7-inch screen. It's just it's got weight to it, dude. And
Are you sure
you
you're
got
talking
power.
about a screen?
Test.
This is Sunday, gentlemen. It ain't Thursday. But not. It's just you got power, and it's probably gonna be. This is the first one. We got you.
Oh yeah, we hear you, brother.
Yeah,
thank you.
And this is the first iteration. You got to think about who we talking about. They'll make, if this is popular, they're gonna make a next one, and it's gonna be more powerful because you know what I'm saying. Everything's gonna be cheaper within the next few years for them to make a bigger one with more power, dude. They might even go for an OLED screen next run because they're gonna have so much power. This is a start for them, and they got the money. It ain't like they don't have the money to do it.
That is true. That is true. And man, it could definitely be the beginning of something. And I definitely feel like they learned from the Steam box. But for all the people out there that try to get on my ass about the Switch when I was talking about being a handheld and that's the main hook. I've seen so many people do a complete 180 now with the Steam Deck, and it's like all these games are portable. Yeah, and I'm like, well, that's exactly what Nintendo was saying with the Switch. Like, yeah, you could plug it into your TV.
They did it at the right time too, Bob. Did you see that they did it right after Nintendo just announced their thing?
Their
it's
OLED.
like, excuse me, people for saying this. It's like they just kicked Nintendo in the nuts.
Yeah, dude, it's this is kind of crazy for them, man. Although we do got we talk about the extreme side here when it comes to platforms, the extreme like Xbox guys, the extreme PlayStation guys, the extreme Nintendo guys. They still buy shit. Like, when it came to like the Wii U, there's extreme Nintendo people buying the games without actually having the system either. That's how like games were selling 20-25 million, and there was only like 10 million Wii U's sold at that point in time. So they are pretty extreme as well, but I have a feeling this will catch on to a lot of the other gamers, the non-extremists out there. This is big news, man. I don't know, yo. Jamie, what do you think about this, man? And what do you think about the conversation going into like Xbox, I see a lot of people that would be excited to, get their Game Pass on a portable device, even though you can stream it to your phone and stuff like that through xCloud, man. What do you think?
Going through my social feed the day it was announced, I noticed a lot of people who were console gamers talk about the Stream Deck, and it occurred to me that I think Xbox-centric gamers are not as opposed to playing games on PC, given them the option. Because, PC games, Xbox has been putting the games on PC for years now. People are used to it, and, having a Xbox portable has always been a topic. And this is pretty much going to be the closest thing. There's going to be a few hurdles that'll step between them and playing Xbox games on the device, but, it's clear that this device is going to be popular. Now, I don't think this is going to be something that's going to overtake the Switch. That's never going to happen. The Nintendo Switch has mass market appeal beyond anything Steam could possibly imagine. And I'm not a Nintendo fanboy or anything, so I can safely say that. The problem with the Steam Deck, first up, if anyone's interested in it, do not get the cheap one, because you can't run AAA games off an SD card. You just can't. Faster read speeds and stuff.
Good point.
But,
very good point right there.
Device is cool. Most games won't work on the thing day one because they have to be Linux based, but Steam is working on this back end thing called Project Proton in the back end, so they can get Windows games to work in the future on Steam. So there'll be more games added over time. I think there's 15,000 games that might work right now going forward, which is a big library. But it's a cool device. People look at this, think, people that are hardcore Xbox console guys look at this device and think, this is a Game Pass box. This is a portable Game Pass device. And it's I think that's cool. There's been more companies coming out lately with, portable PC devices, the NPD or whatever you call it, GPD 10 or whatever it's called. That's going to be a portable PC that looks like a Switch. And there's other companies. I think HP's coming out with one. But the whole Switch thing, the Switch wasn't original. A lot of people think it is. Razer came out in 2012 with a Switch-like device.
And Nintendo stole that design.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is what the Razer device could do in 2012. You could dock it to a TV and play games with a controller. You could hook it up to a monitor. You could do the whole, play it in tabletop mode and all that stuff. It had controllers on the sides. It was essentially a Switch made by Razer. Nobody bought it because it was overpriced and there were no games that could work on it. Moved towards years later, the Switch is a massive success. In 2019, Gabe Newell said the Nintendo Switch was interesting. And that a lot of people thought, we're going to get Half-Life 2 on the Switch. No, you're not. No, you're not. They can make successful hardware. Their VR headset is successful. And the thing is, people will go Steambox. The problem with Steambox is that you had all these different companies. You had HP, Alienware, Dell, making all these different variants. They made 3 different models or 4 of each model, and then there was different RAM and graphics cards or whatever per device. And then a limited amount of those games would work on each box. So it's it was so segmented. And I was on social media a lot back then, and no one was hyped for Steam boxes when they were announced. Because when we had the rumors for Steam boxes, people were it's going to wipe away the console market and stuff. It's no, it never happened because it was so segmented. Console gamers will not inherently stay on PC, given the option, So it's with this device, it's more of an optional thing. It's different. It's offering something that PlayStation and Xbox aren't, a full-on portable device. And I have noticed there's Xbox gamers seem to be hyped about this device. There's PlayStation gamers angry, but they always seem angry for some reason. And Nintendo gamers seem to be kind of upset. And the thing is, it's understandable in the way because everyone on Earth and their dog was reporting Switch rumors. Switch 4K, really think about it. Everyone listening right now. People legitimately thought Nintendo was going to release a 4K DLSS Nintendo device. 2021. That was never going to happen. That was so unrealistic. Whenever I talked about the 4K Switch, I put it in air quotes for a reason because they were never going to do this. Think about it. They're about 2 years away from the next Switch, the Switch 2. So are they going to put their 4K Switch, their 4K like halfway mid-gen refresh, or are they going to put it in an OLED screen? It's minimum effort Nintendo. And I love Nintendo. They're the reason why gaming came back. saved gaming in the 80s.
Yeah.
But it's like, we know by now what Nintendo are like. They weren't going to give us the 4K shiny Switch. They weren't. But this device offers something that people want. And I don't think it's going to kill off Nintendo. Competition's always good. It's always going to be good.
Jamie, just real quick, and again, before I move on to somebody else, I got to ask you, because, Steam, they've wanted to get into the hardware. We saw it they tried with the Steam box, but they didn't want to fully commit, so they had other companies kind of like building those variants that you were talking about or whatnot. But they really want to be in that hardware conversation. And I know their VR headset, really it caused a rumble when it came out. It was incredibly expensive as well. But do you think that this finally puts the company in that place, in that conversation, talking with the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and the Switches? Do you think that, finally, Valve, Steam, they're in that conversation now because of this announcement? Like, they're there to stay.
Oh, definitely. But the thing is, we're going to have developers optimized for this one console, this one Steam console. So there's going to be a version of games out there that'll work best on this device, which is awesome. And the thing is, you have to look at, this console is ridiculously well priced for what you're getting. Considering we live in a time where every graphics card on Earth has been scalps and everything's like $4,000. So it's like you're getting a good amount of power in a small handheld for a cheap price. So yeah, and the thing is, it's a good move for Steam. It's a good move for people that want to get into the portable gaming market, because everything's not. All these AAA games coming out are fundamentally not going to work on the Switch. Really not. So if people want a portable that's going to play AAA games that's coming out over the next 2 years, this is that box.
Nice. And I do got to say, with looking over the Steam Deck, they have absolutely everything and the kitchen sink on this thing. If you want back paddles, they have back paddles. If you want touchpads, they have a touchpad on the left and right hand side, right below the thumbsticks. Of course, you have the the 2 triggers and 2 bumpers on the top. They have every single controller feature all built into one on this thing. So yeah, when it comes to the price of it, when I first looked at it, I'm like, wow, that's pretty expensive. And then you look at everything that's on it. Of course, you look at the power under the hood and everything, but you look at everything all together. Touchpads, back paddles, everything is on this thing. I'm like, that's actually not a bad price for this. Predator. I gotta ask you, what do you think about this? And where does this put Valve? Where does this put Steam in kind of those hardware conversations? Because they've wanted to be there ever since rumors of the Steam box. They're trying to get into that conversation with PlayStation, Xbox, all that stuff. Do you think that this is the thing that's really going to get them in there?
Oh, first of all, can you guys hear me still?
Yes, now I hear you beautifully, bro.
Good. So I pre-ordered one. I pre-ordered the second one. I think it's a 256 gigabyte, whatever byte one. So I got that one. So I don't think this is a immediate threat to Nintendo right now. Talk to me in 3 years and we'll see what happens in 3 years, because Nintendo has a huge fan base worldwide, and a lot of people are not trying to get into PC gaming like that, on a handheld or any kind of way, shape, fashion, or form. That's just how people are. I think the thing that I like about it is that it's portable, and I don't portable game like that. And even when I first saw it, I was like, I ain't getting this shit, because I didn't use my Switch. I barely used it when I had it. I ended up selling it. So I just I'm not gonna get this shit. And then I was like, if I don't get this now, might regret it. The whole fear of missing out thing. But then I started thinking I do have a good Steam library. The thing that kept me off of Switch, didn't keep me entertained with Switch, was the games. I'm not into the Nintendo style games anymore. I've outgrown those games. I know. I mean, I liked, Zelda wasn't even that good to me, to be honest with you. I know I'm probably gonna get hate mail for this. But
it really wasn't.
The Mario's.
I played it on the Wii, on the Wii U.
Yeah, it just wasn't. It didn't get me, like the other Zeldas did, and that was the reason why I got the Switch. The reason why a lot of people got the Switch. I just could not get into that Zelda for whatever reason. The Mario I couldn't get into. Mario Kart will always be one of my favorite games. and that's what I played the majority of the time was Mario Kart. And then I felt like I was buying games just because I had a Switch. Like I was like, I bought this thing, I gotta buy games for it, you know. So I didn't like, you know. Right now I'm kind of going to Switch tangent here for a minute, but I'll get back to the Valve Steam thing here in a minute. But like the thing about the Switch I didn't like, you didn't have voice chat. You had to do some weird shit for that. And it's like the games, like they just been pimping out their Marios and Zeldas, and you know, for years and years, each generation, and like there's no back and pat. You got to buy the whole brand new game all over again. It's just like I just like, you know what? Fuck this Switch. So I put it away. And I sold it. So with this Valve Steam, whatever the hell it's called now, what got me on it was the fact that I have a nice sized PC library, right? With Steam. When I found out you can put Windows on it, when I found out you can upgrade the storage, you know, maybe void your warranty.
Dude,
and do
yeah,
it,
I saw that on Twitter, bro. Like, oh my, bro, you blew it up when it came to the story.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, huh, okay. I'll put this in my car and put this hookup to my screen in my car or whatever. And you know, the kids will play some shit, whatever. Like, it has every feature of a PC, but it's not. You don't have to dedicate yourself to fixing everything. It's like everything in a PC that people complain about.
With the ease of some console usage type stuff.
Yeah, with the ease of console, you just buy it off the shelf. Maybe put Windows 10 or 11 on there, but you can put apps on there. I can play Game Pass on there.
You can watch Netflix on it.
I can watch Netflix on there. Like all the stuff that I complained about when I actually had a podcast, when I had my own show, my own YouTube videos. When I did the review for the Switch, those were all my complaints about the Switch. I couldn't get any of that shit on there. And now I have a portable device that I could. So even if I didn't want to play games, I was tired of the Nintendo games and the ones they have out. And you know, I've outgrown those little kiddie games to some degree. Even if I got to that point where I outgrew them, I could still watch Netflix. I could still make phone calls, you know, using a third-party app. I could still use it for other things. That's what, you know, this device does now. It basically ties that in. Everything I complained about Switch, I'm getting it from this device. So like the price point, the storage size is kind of weak. The battery life is kind of weak. So those are the negatives, but I don't really think Nintendo has anything to worry about right now. I just, you know, I think it's a decent device for what it is. How often I use it would be a different story. But you know, some of y'all, if you're on the fence with it, just set to the side and let the people who are going to break it for you and figure out what's wrong with it. But I don't think people are just going to be like, oh, I have to have this, unless you're just a hardcore gamer. I wouldn't even mess with it. I think for the people who have not gotten into PC gaming ever in their entire life, this would be a decent device for you.
Yeah, especially with those Steam sales and whatnot when it comes to the games. If you have no library, you can start getting games for like almost like pennies. Like when it comes.
I got a big library
with those sales. But yo, Pred, I gotta ask you real quick because we all know, Xbox and Valve they have been buddy for a while now, and I'm starting to see things. You know, people are asking about like Xbox handhelds, this, that, or whatnot. I'm starting to think that, you know, part of the reason why Xbox really started to try to like play nice with Steam and Valve is because they saw this coming as well. What do you think this is part of the reason why Xbox and Valve they've kind of, you know, been working more closely together? Do you think like, you know, down the line they're going to talk they'll promote Game Pass on the Steam Deck as well as like some type of partnership or business relationship with Xbox?
I could see that happening going down the road, especially with Netflix kind of jumping in to the you know, the streaming realm, and they're supposedly dealing with Sony. I could see Microsoft trying to expand to this device, especially if it becomes super popular. You know, let's put a Game Pass sub on it, or even an app where you can get to it easily, and you ain't got to do all the side loading and switching over to Windows 11. If they allowed it on their new, I forgot what the operating system they're using.
Linux. They're using Linux.
No. I mean, Steam has some proprietary, not operating system. I said that wrong. I forgot what it's called. Somebody in chat probably will say it. But there's something they're doing where like the games run. It's not an operating system; it's something else. And the name will hit me when someone else is talking. I'll look it up. But but if they allow, even if it's you want to say Linux, if they use some kind of Game Pass app to work with this system, great. I can get all my achievements.
That'd be fire.
Because the thing is, I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, I PC game, but sometimes I'm sitting in the living room, my wife's watching TV, and I'm listening to YouTube videos or something like that. And if I can listen to my YouTube videos and get a little Starfield in at the same time, while I'm sitting on the couch, great. But I can still sit around in the living room around the family and still act like I'm entertaining them when I'm really not. I'm doing other shit. Versus being in the extra room and shit, and everybody asking where I'm at. I can sit there and act like, I'm playing games with you guys. But my kids will probably use it to some degree too. But I don't think. I do think that Microsoft has probably kind of talked to Gabe about this and tried to work something in. As it didn't take like 3 months to make this device. It's taken a long time. So, if you go back to like some of the historical things that have happened between both companies, we always saw that. Remember that whole Steam OS thing we kept thinking we were seeing inside the inner workings of the Xbox.
Yeah.
And everybody was hoping we could play Steam games on the Xbox. That they were talking about it for real.
Yeah, and this could have been something they had like working in the mix behind the scenes for a long time.
I got 2 questions for you, Fred. You're the tech guy, so it's
some of the tech guy.
Well, you know what I mean, bro. Okay, the first one that everybody laughs at me when I say, why can't none of these guys, the portable ones, have a slot for a data SIM card like I have with my tablet, instead of, okay, I don't like hotspotting it on my phone. Okay, it's cool. I've done it, with my son's Switch when we were in places and stuff like that. But why can't they allow SIM? If they allowed a SIM from your company, which ain't that much for them to get a SIM with extra data if you're going to play the thing all the time, why can't they do that?
I would, if I had to guess, again, I ain't a tech guy. I don't know where I got that name from, but if I had to guess,
you're the business guy, though.
Probably have to do with patents or FCC approval. So the wireless
everything else, a lot of portable things like my tablet, it has its own SIM card, unlimited data.
The price of it though?
Not much, because it all depends. It wouldn't drive up the price. You would just go to your own cellular provider and ask them for a SIM card that takes that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And put your SIM card in there. That way you ain't got to be on nobody's Wi-Fi line, where they can find your personal information. You be on your own SIM plan anywhere, all the time, on the road, wherever. Instead of I got to look for a Wi-Fi. Ooh, I'm out of hotspot data. What I'm saying?
That's probably a deeper technical issue that I get into. But I look at your phones now. Remember, your phones have a radio in it. They took those out.
Yeah, I love that in my Windows phone.
They took them out, and now you can't do that anymore. You have to go through like a web.
You got to go to TuneIn.
Yeah, you got to use an app to do it. Like they took radios out, which is basically FCC regulated. So like your consoles don't have a 5G thing in it. I get it's stationary, but like you typically get both anymore. You only get one.
I hotspotted my Xbox before, so I know what you're talking about.
But you're using your hotspot through your wireless device inside your Xbox. Phone. You don't have like, again, it's kind of stupid to have it, but you don't have like a 5G SIM chip in your your console. And maybe it's something along those lines. Again, I'm not a technical expert on radio signals and FCC regulations, but I think they took out the radio in phones for a reason, to kind of force you to use the 5G chips or the 4G.
No, I was, even if you use a 4G chip, that'll still run good because the games power themselves. They're able to pull as much bandwidth as they need. You know what I'm saying? Look at it this
way. How many times have we seen them come out with, here is this version. And here's a 5G LTE version as well.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Then it's slowing down to 4G where you're at too. I know.
Maybe we'll just make more money off you later. We'll give you this option in the second revision of it. Because why put it in if they're not sure it's going to sell?
Correct.
just leave it out. Let people just deal with the hot spots and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I mean, you would think with you being on the go that they would have this option for you,
Right.
but a lot of vehicles now they have the
Built-in.
capabilities. Yeah, so you can get the Wi-Fi in your car, or a lot of offices have anywhere you go eat has
Yeah, a
Wi-Fi.
hotspot, right?
Yeah, so like it's like why spend the extra research and development on something that you can pretty much get through your wireless
Yeah,
car?
but have you seen some of those hotspots in some of those places?
Yeah, this
They
year
are
I used
But
them when I
it
was
does
at Puerto
force the
Rico.
usage in on it, and I think that's where the FCC might, because you got to remember these groups and the where they establish regulations and stuff. They there are points in time where they got corporate money in their pockets and stuff like that.
And you got to think about
But
this too.
Bob,
They're selling
when
this.
you were-
They're selling this to multiple countries. Not
But
every
Bob-
country allows this kind of shit.
But Fred, would you agree though that whichever portable is the first one to actually do something like that will have one major advantage that would make people say, "Really?"
I
might
hear
have
you.
to get that.
Common sense would say like, wow, yeah, that would be a major advantage. But I think everything else has to come in line as well. You look at the power under the hood with the Steam Deck. You look at what's being offered. You look at the Steam library options, games, stuff like that. I think that all has something to do with it. And if a device comes out and they're like, yeah, we take SIM cards, it does 5G over cellular, stuff like
It has
that.
Bluetooth where you can talk to people online.
Yeah, but it still
with the
still
Steam Deck. I
matters
know.
performance. It still matters on design in terms of the comfort. I think design matters more in handheld than it does on your set box console. Like your console can look like a melted modem when it comes to
I've
the
seen that
PS5.
design
But people
before,
are
though.
like, yeah, I like that. You know what I'm saying?
But
Here's
I've
another thing
seen
to
that
think about,
Steam
too.
Deck design before
Yeah,
because I had
the
to
links.
think about it. Microsoft had like just a demo look of a few years back of what their portable would have looked like.
Yeah, and then I also
If you had
saw
done
the
it.
Xbox tablet as well, which was another prototype that they were thinking about.
Right, and it almost looks like the Steam Deck.
Well, the Steam Deck really looks similar to the Atari Lynx, but with a way bigger screen. That you guys
Yeah,
remember the
and with
Lynx?
a
It was all
touchpad.
plastic
Yeah, I
with that
remember that.
small screen in the middle. It looks a lot
You
like
had
that.
you had the two button, and then you had the D-pad. I remember that.
Yeah.
You know, here's one thing to think about too with the 5G thing. When you add another SIM chip to your account, what does that do?
Yeah, but it
adds more money to you gotta pay for that, right?
I have one in my tablet already. So say I want to take the one out of my tablet and I want to put it in my Stream Deck or my Switch. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to use the tablet today, but I'm going to take my Stream Deck with me. I can put my SIM card, which is unlimited. I pay extra $20 a month for it. It's worth it. Trust me, I use my tablet a lot. And I'll just put it in my Stream Deck, take that with me, because my Stream Deck is like having a handheld tablet anyway once I put Windows on it. It's got touchscreen and everything.
Yeah.
If you're doing that, you're taking away from a device you already paid for. But like if you're, let's say I don't have a tablet that I use like that. I have a phone. So if I want to take my card out of my phone and stick it in my Stream Deck, I can't use my phone anymore. So like I would have to add another line basically.
Well, I definitely have. I know what you're saying.
They're locking consumers out of their SIM cards as well.
But I actually have another card that goes to my tablet, so I have an advantage a lot of people don't have. I can switch it anywhere I want.
And I think
so,
that
you know what
that
I'm
right there, that right there is the point. You have an advantage that a lot of people don't have, where these companies, they are closing off the back of their cell phones. They are taking away the SIM cards. They are integrating it into the system where you cannot get into it. And I think that's kind of like what Pred's saying. It's like, they don't have the SIM card options really anymore.
No, you'll still have Wi-Fi
line,
ability.
but it's add a line.
If I didn't have the SIM card in my tablet, I could still operate on my Wi-Fi.
Like the newer devices, they don't give you the option of taking out your SIM card, like your cell phones and stuff like that. They're doing what Porsche did with engines. You no longer can get into your Porsche engine. All right, you can't pop open the trunk and get into it. No, you have to take it to a dealer, and they got to work on it. because you can't do it personally. They're locking your portable devices.
I know what you're saying. Like they do with McLaren's.
You can't grab the SIM card anymore. You can't pull out the SIM card, put it in a different phone or anything like that. You would have to take the new phone and bring it to the company and either switch the information or, like Pred said, add a new line. I think that's probably why you're not seeing it. It's a good idea. X-Man, like it would be awesome, but I think companies they're restricting you from doing that now. But let's go to Crispy on the Steam Deck, man. I'm kind of interested to hear what he has to say. I don't think he's too much of a portable player, but dude, this thing's got a lot to offer, brother. What do you think?
It's a portable PC.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the thing. One thing, because like obviously, Nintendo with the Switch, like that's their bread and butter right now. I am a wholehearted believer that they are shaking in their boots right now. and the only reason why I think that is because they came out with to my knowledge, I've read it over and over again. Is there any upgrade besides really the screen to the Switch?
No,
that's really it.
More storage for games.
They
doubled the storage. It went from 32 to 64.
The screen is a little bigger, just a little bigger, not much.
But okay, so and look, I'm gonna go down a little theory rabbit hole real quick. Okay. So the screen on the Switch, the upgraded Switch, is better than the Steam Deck, correct?
The screen
it's not OLED on
the screen on
Steam
the
Deck.
Switch is OLED. Yeah, no, it's not OLED on the Steam Deck. No.
Okay, so here's my rabbit hole theory real quick. They are going to be forced to partner with Xbox because they're going to use the cloud to upgrade the games that they already have, and they're going to add Game Pass in there to get the AAA bangers that Xbox is going to be coming out with in the future and now, even with Halo Infinite. You add that to your stable of games. What Nintendo loves is selling. And they will sell their first party, as they always do, because people love their Marios, their Kirbys, their Smash Brothers. They love those games. But they don't have the games or the hardware technically still, even though it's an upgraded screen, to attract people like myself. And how do you go about that? Now, you go about that by using the cloud. Now, here's the one thing that everybody ignored. And Phil, I don't remember what interview because I've watched many since E3, but one of the interviews, he said that they are going to try and they are working on supporting the OG Xbox One for the entire time. And they're going to use the cloud to do it. And that's where I go and say they are farther ahead than people think about this if he's starting to talk about this. And the only thing, hey, they could do it with Steam too. Steam will allow you to do that. The Steam Deck is basically a portable PC. You can do whatever you want with it. That's at least what I'm seeing as of now, their thought process about it.
Well, real quick, what do you guys think about this theory here? Anybody want to respond that Nintendo is going to be forced to work with Microsoft and Xbox via the cloud, man? Any of you guys agree, disagree? What's up?
Nintendo will never let that happen.
I don't know. Why upgrade the screen? Because in realism, okay, the FPS, everything else that's involved would actually be contributed by the cloud. The Series X blades that they've already put into it. Understanding that they're investing not only in themselves, but PlayStation's already bought into it, yet they're still, we hear rumors that they're going with Netflix, which Netflix, I believe, uses Amazon servers for their cloud services, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but they don't have their own. So what I'm saying is why not? Nintendo just saw this, just said, oh shit, somebody's trying to get into our market. The one thing about Steam players, they love Steam. You know what I'm saying? And it's just as loyal as a Nintendo fan. That's the thing that people ignore. They are just as loyal. And they love, and a lot of the games really don't require a lot to work on something like that. So, you know, the logicalness is that, you know, Nintendo is forced at this point to say, we have to pay attention to things that are not our first party for once. Because Steam is basically, it's first party, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, to them, it's probably first party, to the people that only play on Steam, but to everyone else, it's like, oh, that game's been ported to Xbox, that game's been ported to PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like Nintendo has to have some kind of, like, you know, leg up. And why just upgrade the screen? Because the screen will actually come into fruition if the cloud is using it, if Xbox is on the path that they are. Who else is? Who else is on the path of the cloud services for gaming as Xbox? Xbox hasn't even completely released it yet, which is insane. And I see people constantly saying, dude, this is working so much better since they've upgraded the blades. I'm just saying, like, they are at the point where they're going to start selling this to multiple people. And of course, your one thing that you have to deal with is that Game Pass will be on your specific console or whatever the cloud is going to use. You have to allow us to have Game Pass on there, and that's all we want. And I think Microsoft Xbox would absolutely do that. You look at Windows, the way it has been born and been used over these years. I feel like that's their entire goal, is to say, you know what? We have clouds that you can have 1080p, 60 FPS on your Switch. I bet you people would freaking be like, okay, yeah, I'm down with that. And I think that's how Nintendo combats it.
You know that the Nintendo Switch, their games, even though they're switching to OLED, they're still going to be at 720p.
Yeah, no, the resolution is going to be the same.
The resolution could be the same because the hardware has not changed.
I know.
But then you're eliminating the hardware with the cloud. Think about that. If the screen is capable of doing a certain amount, but the hardware is not, okay, I'm sure the games, if they're docked, they play differently than they play on your handheld. The thing is that these big games like Halo Infinite and stuff, the hardware is not capable. So if you add xCloud in there, you are actually adding this Series X blade that is going to run your game. And if the screen is actually capable of being higher, even though the hardware is not, the screen will be able to push those resolutions because the Series X blades will be able to push that screen to that resolution because you're not technically using the hardware.
But it can't boost the resolution because that's what the resolution of the screen is. But your theory is intriguing because if you think about it, you know, Xbox is working really well with Valve, with Steam right now, and you know they got, you know, you already got people talking about Game Pass over there. If they can somehow get the, you know, the xCloud and games over onto the Switch, that could be really an interesting situation where, you know, people are playing Xbox games in all these different areas. Like Xbox is all over.
I just want to, Bot, because I love you, but I want you to kind of eliminate that thought process, because if you have a 1080p capable screen, which Xbox the original Xbox One was known for 720 to 900. Okay,
no, it was known for 1080
and it rarely got to 1080.
But it was known for that.
Okay, it rarely. They were talking. Phil, without saying it because somebody else said it, was basically saying their target is 1080p, 60 FPS, and that is with the OG X. I'm telling you that the cloud is a lot crazier than a lot of people think. I don't even know enough about it.
Yeah, but
I really, if the screen is capable, I'm telling you,
But the screen
it's going to
isn't.
push.
The screen is a 720p.
But they're going off the
800p.
specs. They're not going off the cloud. They're going off the specs of the console that can push
if
it.
the resolution of the
It's a
screen is
console
a
right
certain
now.
number, they cannot make it higher using the cloud.
Nintendo being
all right,
cheap.
like
They don't
all right,
wanna
so
spend
check this
for
out.
the
I had
1080p
the Xbox One X, but I had it with a 1080p TV. Now my One X could run games 4K. I could never see that on my TV though. It had super sampling, so it did it the best it could to bring
So
in.
you have absolute confirmation for the fact that is an OLED that's a 720p screen, or is that the console can only push 720p?
It's a 720p Samsung OLED screen.
Yes.
Nintendo didn't want to pay for a 1080p.
He's the truth. Like, it's a cool idea. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a cool idea, but the problem is that it's bare minimum Nintendo. Like that's what it is. Like think about it. Nintendo do not have a functioning chat app on their console. They don't have a headphone jack on their main controller. You can't pair Bluetooth. Yeah, you can't pair Bluetooth like headsets with the thing. It's like I think in an ideal world, would it be cool like for this stuff, to play, have xCloud stream to your Switch and all that stuff? Like in an ideal world, yeah, that'd be lovely. But the problem is Nintendo's not like that. Nintendo's so far behind. And the thing is, Nintendo's always going to kill it when it comes to video games.
Not
and
necessarily. You can emulate. You can emulate to the Steam Deck now. Like, dude, I'm telling you, this is a big deal for them. Like, this is a market that nobody's touched since the PSP and the Sega freaking Game Gear. Gear. You know what I mean? Like they haven't really touched them, and they came back to it, and they really won it. But now with this Steam Deck, dude, I want one. That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, because it's a portable PC, but it's also made for gaming, and that's really cool. And all the things you just brought up are exactly why the Switch needs to do something, because all of a sudden people are going to be like, oh, I can go play Animal Crossing on, this emulated PC, because, dude, Nintendo hasn't really tried to hold their stuff
on the system and stuff like that. Like, a lot of people are forgetting that. Like, I understand there are hardcore gamers out there that are like, wow, I can play all these platforms games on one system, and for a lot of it you are correct, but when it comes to Nintendo and putting the emulators on, you have to really want to play Nintendo games to get the emulators and situate them on your device to do that. Like, and the more casual market, I don't see them fussing with it that much. You have the ability to do it with the Steam Deck. And I think there are people who are going to do it, and it's going to be interesting to see that, but I don't think that's going to be an absolute mainstay. I don't think that is something that will hook the more casual market into getting a Steam Deck, to be really honest with you.
Well, xCloud gives me better graphics on my phone when I'm playing it than the Switch.
Oh, yeah,
does.
it looks incredible, but it doesn't...
Well,
your phone, I bet you your phone is also a 4K screen as well. At least
I have an OLED screen, yeah.
Okay,
I have an OLED
like,
screen,
and that's the
4K,
thing.
yeah.
That's
But it can only run Xbox games only run at 722 when you stream though. When you use xCloud on your phone.
Yeah, but then you have a higher quality screen.
It looks
yeah,
right. It looks crisp. It looks sharp. I've seen people with just regular LED screens using xCloud at my job, and it still looks amazing, even though it says 720. They use LED.
Well, yeah,
LED
and this is something that we have stated from going 2013 up until now. Resolution and graphics are two different beasts, guys. They are two different animals. Like when it comes down to it, of course, the higher resolution means a clearer look to your game, but the graphics make the prettiness of it. Like, and if you have a really nice screen, even with like a lower resolution game, it is going to look incredible if they put the time and effort in on the graphic side of it. But Dark, what do you think about the Steam Deck, bro? I think everybody chimed in except for you on this one, man. And you are a little bit of a wild card here. So I'm interested to hear what you think about this handheld, bro?
It looks awesome. I just, for me personally, and this is only for me, I am not gonna get one because I don't know if I'll utilize it. Because I have a Switch.
I'm in that boat
I have
with
a
you as
Switch right.
well.
I have a Switch right now, and I barely ever play it. You know, like if I wanted to take things on the go, then I would go more. If that makes sense. I mean, I travel, maybe once or twice out of the year, like to somewhere.
You gotta travel to Connecticut. Come on over, brother. Come on over.
Yeah, like I don't travel to.
I got a
the extent
futon,
of,
man.
like,
You can crash here.
I don't travel to the extent of like every month or something like that, or every couple of months or something like that. I'm more of like twice out of the year, pretty much, for traveling. So, and if I am traveling, I'm usually falling asleep on the plane or something like that. Like I'm not playing anything on there. I don't even bring my Switch with me, like, so I have no reason to utilize this at all. Like I have no reason for it. Is it cool? Absolutely. It's probably one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time.
In a while, yeah.
In a long time.
Dude, they got touch pads, they got back paddles, they got everything on this thing.
I mean, they pretty much said, hey, you know what do gamers like the most? Okay, we'll put it all on the system.
Yeah.
All of it. And guess what? They're doing it. And it's showing because this thing is selling out. I mean, you could still pre-order it. You're just going to it's going to be later for when you get it. Like I think right now the dates are like quarter 2 2022 to quarter 3 2022. So I mean, you could still put your $5 down and reserve it, but you're gonna have to wait longer for you to get it. But yeah, for me, I want to see more of what other people think of it as well. I've always been kind of like skeptic about getting new hardware right away. Like the only reason why I did it this generation with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X is because I just wanted to be a part of that. I've never been a part of that. I've never been a part of midnight launch or anything like that, and I wanted to do it this time. And then, it was exciting. It was, but to me, in the long run, was it really worth it? Not really. Like to me, in the long run, it hasn't really been, like, because when you do that, when you're an early adopter, unlike with this, like this is different. This is going to be different. But when you're an early adopter, you're having to wait months, for the next big game to come out or the next thing to play on that system. For this, of course, you're going to have your whole library. You're going to have, plus a bunch of games
and
that you might not.
Series X and S, like your
Yeah.
backwards compatibility. You brought your library with you,
Right.
basically, for
Right.
the first time.
Yeah, the backwards compatibility was there for both consoles, but more on one console than the other. But
Can't lie.
what?
I said you ain't lying on that one. But go.
No, yeah. I mean, if PS5 had PS3, PS2, PS1, there would be no contest there. It would be like, oh, okay, well, I can play all those games, all those old games, but I don't ever see that happening ever in the future. Or
Why
anything
do
like
that when they can just remaster the old games and make you buy them
Right,
again? Come on, man.
That's exactly what they're doing. I mean, look at what they're doing with their director's cuts. Like it's just gonna happen. But yeah, I think the Steam Deck is for certain people. It's not for me.
You guys know that Steam has bigger game libraries than Xbox, Nintendo, and Sony.
Well,
Yeah, but for
It's
me,
huge.
I understand that. But for me, portably, I have no reason for it.
You don't
You
have
know what I'm
to.
saying?
When they get the docking station, Dark, you won't.
Yeah,
have
but
to
I
use it for
still
it.
feel like I don't have a reason for
Sir
it.
X-Man,
I
are
don't
you trying
have
to
a
tell this
reason
man
for
how to
that.
spend his money in his
Yeah,
wallet?
it's
Is that
like
what
that's
we're
what it
doing
sounds
here?
like.
No, I'm not trying to tell him that. I'm just giving him like
I
He said
just
trade in
I
that
don't know
PS5
my
for a Steam
reasons
Deck,
for it.
brother. That's what he just
no,
said, man.
I'm not. No, I would never tell him trade in his PS5, dude.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
just
those Steam
For
games
saying.
are
me,
garbage.
for me personally,
As far as
for
library
for
though.
for me personally though, I would rather have like if I was gonna get Game Pass, I would rather have an Xbox console for Game Pass.
Yeah, well,
Like I wouldn't want to spend, I wouldn't want to get it on my TV or on another console. I would have the Xbox specific console for that because I know personally that when you have a company who has a product, they tend to take care of that product more than than something like Samsung. If you get a Samsung TV and it's got Game Pass on it, is it always going to work?
that's.
Probably not.
I mean, that's a
You
good
know,
thought as well. Yeah, I mean, that's
you
something
know.
not a lot of people
Yeah,
thought
So
about.
that's coming, dude. That's
Yo,
actually coming out.
But Dark, check this out, and we only have a couple minutes left on this, so I'm gonna throw this out, and I'm gonna let the panel just kind of take it. So you guys you're professionals, you know not to step over each other and stuff like that on this. But one thing I have noticed with the Steam Deck, it is so funny when people argue about Xbox and Sony, they talk about exclusives, right? Like these devices need exclusives. They need exclusive games. They need exclusive games at launch, everything like that. When it comes to the Steam Deck, I haven't heard anybody say anything about are there games coming out.
Oh, I
stri-
was
Oh,
thinking
Steam
about
got
this today.
tons of exclusives, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
but
playing this
nobody's
game that
touting
I
it.
love.
Nobody is saying, well, that's the reason to get this, though. They do talk about the library and stuff like that, but I haven't noticed anybody pointing out, well, this game is exclusive on Steam, and I'm going to have it on my Steam Deck. This game. Do you see what I'm saying?
It was never put in the console world.
So,
Where
Sir X, before
they
you go
worried
there,
about
I know where you're trying to go.
Yeah, you know where I'm gonna go.
I know Steam has a lot of PC-centric games, right?
Right.
But Valve, as a company, hasn't made a lot of PC-centric games. They basically let everybody else make games for them. Valve last game was Half-Life Alyx, which was a VR game.
VR game, right?
And the other two I'm thinking of that come out. I was looking at this earlier. They had two other games that came out between 2013 and now. One was Half-Life Alyx. The other two, I believe, were VR games, and another one I don't remember what the fuck it was called. And I don't even think it was actually a VR game. It was for something else. I don't know, but it's not like a huge AAA, game. It's not like Half-Life. It's not like was it? Did they do Left 4 Dead? What was the other one they did? Valve in general.
Well, Valve is also the only place where you can play. What's that shooter game that people still play, even in esports? Counter something or something.
Counter-Strike.
Which came out in 95,
and people are still playing.
I get that, but the thing is, and I had this conversation with somebody today too. And I'm like, we can't play this whole console war thing, and it's such and such company doesn't have any games, and then buy a brand new console for it, and then, with Valve, they've not come out with anything, as far as something specific.
Hold on, are you saying I'm proving a point right now?
No, I mean you're absolutely right though. Everyone, all this company, we all play games from different people on whatever device we own. We just don't play exclusives on our systems. We play games from EA. We play games from all those games come to Steam. They come to Xbox. They come to PlayStation. They come to sometimes Nintendo. They come to every console. So people are throwing this money at this system that has technically no games,
no exclusives,
and they're gonna they're gonna argue on one hand about the console wars, but they're not gonna do that with Steam. When it comes to is there gonna be a new handheld war? Switch versus Steam. You know, we're gonna have that now going. Like, which one makes better exclusives? Like, is that where we're gonna go now? Is that gonna be the new narrative? But they do have a lot of games on Steam that are not, you know, you'll never see them on any places ever. You
Like
won't.
this
There's a
game I
lot of
love,
games like that.
like the game I
Um,
love called Distance, man. I love that game. They'll
I mean, I
never
can
see
pull up my
it.
Steam library now, like the Wind Road. I haven't seen that on Xbox or PlayStation yet. I mean, I know they're talking about it, but sometimes some of these games come on PC first before they make it to the console. So if those games, if we're taking out the whole, you know, exclusive part of it out, like who made it, where it came from. If you're talking about exclusive games that's going on a system, yes, PC definitely has a shitload more of them, but not all of them are good. So
Yo,
just remember that.
They were the
Not all
first shovelware site.
yeah, they're not all good games. So hold your horses for a minute there. Like there's some gems like PUBG came to Steam first, came to PC first, right? It ended up working its way over. People played the shit out. I played it on PC for a little while before I moved over to consoles. But like sometimes those games are made on one and they're coming out on another one. How that's gonna perform on a handheld, different story. We'll see when it happens. But just don't let's kill this, you know, exclusive bullshit, because like I know where people are gonna go with this later on down the road, but like kill that. If y'all just kill that noise now, save yourself the trouble of the argument going forward, because like it exclusives don't exist anymore in a sense. Like you'll get onesie twosies here and there,
And at least
but
1/3 of those games aren't controller compatible too. So you got to think
yeah,
about
it's
that
true
too.
too. So like, you know, some of those games that we see that are coming on one console and not another are going to PC.
Pretty
and
much.
vice
Yo,
versa.
I want to shout out to the chat. Well, first off, I want to shout out to the legend HTK is in the chat. Always good to see you, brother. How's everything going? I hope you're having a good Sunday. That's right. Next podcast, and we're here on Sunday. Just this week. Just this week only. But I want to throw it out to the chat. Guys, what do you think? Nobody's really been touting exclusives when it comes to the Steam Deck. So while, you know, the rest of the panel is getting in on this, hit up the chat. Let me know what you think about that, guys. Is it just a pass for Valve, for Steam here when it comes to the Steam Deck, that they don't necessarily have to, you know, make games for this?
No.
Like what is the deal? And I gotta ask,
resolution.
I'm gonna tell
resolution.
I'm gonna tell you the deal. What it is right now is that you got these fanboys who are like, there needs to be exclusives. There has to be. When in actuality, nothing is exclusive anymore. Like Pred was saying. I mean, what are the majority of PS5 games going towards? They're going towards PC. You know, like there's no reason to debate about exclusives anymore, because look at all the Xbox games. They're all going to PC. You know, there is no such thing as totally exclusive anymore. I mean, even look at the Switch games. I mean, the recent Monster Hunter Stories game went to PC, and it runs better on PC. So it's like there's no reason to argue about this when all these games are on multiple different platforms. Yeah, I mean, granted, will you ever see like something like Ghost of Tsushima on Xbox? Probably not. No. But you'll see it on PC. So guess what? People who want to play it will play it either on PC or they'll play it on a PS whatever, you know, PS4, PS5. And if they don't want to play it, then they won't play it, you know, and they probably won't feel like they're missing out on anything, you know, and that's the beauty of gaming. We should never have to feel like we're missing out on things like that. I feel like that's what goes on in this community a lot, is a lot of FOMO. There's a lot of FOMO of you know, just people just being like, oh, I'm afraid I'm gonna miss out on that game, when in actuality you're not missing out on anything. You could wait, play it later. Doesn't matter when you play it, as long as you play it, right? Like I feel like there's so many people that are just like, I need to play it right now, today, and get it today, and it's just like, no, you don't need to do that.
No, I've,
You know,
I've
like-
waited,
trying to
I've waited
tell
for games I
people,
wanted to
thank
play.
you. Like I haven't played God of War yet. I want to play God of War, but I haven't had the time. But I know eventually I'm gonna experience because I don't know the ending.
He's gonna
Nobody's
experience
You're gonna
it
play it.
on PC, baby. That's
No,
where
I'm not. No, I'm gonna play it on the PS4. But I want to experience it for myself. When I find the
Right.
time, I'm gonna play it. You
yo,
know?
yo, Sir X-Man, if you find the
I
jump
play
button, let
old
me know.
games.
Let me know if you find the jump button in that game, okay?
Oh, that's the A button, bro.
The director's
It's
cut.
always the A
It'll be in
button.
the director's cut.
It'll be
Right,
the
yeah,
director's cut.
PS5 version.
Yo, that's great. Yo, Crispy, you want to chime in on the whole exclusive thing? Because I found it funny.
Oh God, I've heard him do this before. This
I
is
found
gonna
it
be fun.
funny how people were hyping up exclusives and stuff, and then this new device comes out, and they're crickets on the whole exclusive thing, but the pre-orders are selling out like crazy, man.
Exclusives?
What's that?
Meta who?
Meta who?
Anybody, you know, because the exclusive talk, unfortunately, has come from really two consoles, and one is definitely not releasing, and that's Nintendo. PlayStation's already done this. So, let's be honest for a second. PlayStation wants the money. Nintendo doesn't care. Okay? We all think that they care. They don't care. I mean, you know, all the features that they don't add to their console that, you know, everybody else has is kind of ridiculous.
It kind of saves them money, actually, to be honest with you, because they're
Well,
faithful
and I'm
buy all their
sure-
games anyway.
I'm sure that's going to be a big deal until it's not anymore. And, you know, as we see games like Fortnite and PUBG, and now Halo's going to be free to play.
That's
People
gonna be
need to
huge.
communicate with each other to be able to play these games. And, you know, at some point, Nintendo's going to say, oh, we actually have to do something. Now, when that actually comes is when they stop selling, you know, nearly 1.5 what their consoles have sold. That's the way I feel about every, like, first party they come out with. PlayStation, on the other hand, is like, okay, we have this game that didn't really sell well, Days Gone, here you go. Oh, you know, Death Stranding, here you go. You know, they're kind of, you know, basically putting their toe in the water. They haven't really done the full Monty. You know, just like, hey, I'm just gonna jump in. You know what I mean? Like, jump in, get cold. You know, have that shock to your system.
A little shrinkage going on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they refuse to do that. But you can see it's happening. I mean, we all said it. They rebranded to PlayStation Studios. That was the nail in the coffin for at least us. We were like, yeah, they're gonna start doing things that they wouldn't normally do. But
Doing things a little bit differently, guys.
But now you get to see that because, you know, now the Steam Deck comes out and you're like, well, shit. You know what I mean? Like, the exclusive talk is over. Now, if you want console exclusive, and Xbox been doing this for a while, well, I mean, yeah, there it is. And you have to realize that they're taking PC ports. I mean, Stalker, I don't believe has ever been on a console. So Stalker 2 is going to be on the console. And I mean,
Imagine
it
if
said
they,
it was running in
if they announced
Series
that they
X.
bundle it with like the original Stalker, kind of like remastered for, you know what
That
I'm
would
saying?
be really cool too, but
How come nobody ever cried console exclusive when it was the Dreamcast versus the PlayStation 2? Nobody ever cried about, I want this game on mine and I want this game on mine. It's never been like that.
Sir
until this
X, it's
generation.
called social media, and somebody's
I know,
gonna think about
but-
something. Okay, let's be serious. But
There
at the end of the day,
there was nothing like that back then, Chris.
but
You know.
we're at the point where it's null and void again, and people can you know ride on that bowl until it's doing 100 miles an hour and it throws you off, And then you're gonna go say, "Well, it happened, and I hate it," but you got to deal with it, and that's the way
Hold
I
on,
look
Crispy,
at it.
real quick. I gotta comment because our buddy Albert G said nobody can win against his points here, and he brought up the MPDs, which we will be talking about in a couple days. All right, when it came to this show, I know Predator he threw that in for the topics and stuff, but we got a couple days until Thursday, and we'll talk about that this coming Thursday on next podcast. But he says like Xbox One MPD because the PS5 shortage, even Ratchet & Clank. Now I'm gonna stop at the PS5 shortage. I see a lot of people using that. Albert, so don't you think it would have been a really good idea if PlayStation, for people who count units sold, I am not that person, by the way. I am not that person. It's been all over my Twitter feed, the whole MPD thing. But if Xbox, quote-unquote, won MPD because PS5 had a shortage, don't you think it would have been a great idea for Sony to come out with a cheaper system, kind of like what Xbox did? Not really as powerful, but can still put in with next-gen features and stuff like that. So this way they would have had consoles out there for people who wanted PlayStations. See, you're pointing that as a victory. I'm pointing that as a misstep for Sony and PlayStation on something that they could have done for their consumers moving forward.
Is he talking about? Is he talking about how Xbox won MPD for 2 months in a row? Is that what he's talking about?
Was it 2 months in? I don't even pay attention to this stuff, man.
Honestly, it doesn't matter. But the reason why Xbox won is because Game Pass.
Game Pass.
Period.
Game
and
Pass.
They're putting out more consoles in the U.S.
And
they're
the hype.
manufacturing way more.
They are. But here's the thing: like, if Xbox is putting out consoles and they're pretty much close. I mean, they're not. There are some differences, but they're pretty close to the same tech as the PS5. Probably. I mean, of course, Xbox Series X there's way more, things. Yeah, there's a lot more power
baby.
there. But don't you think that PlayStation probably could have done the same thing? Like come out with more consoles and stuff. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me as to why
funding, Dark. I mean, let's be honest, Dark. It's funding. It's not. I'm not.
I don't think it's that though.
Yes,
I think it's because of Game Pass.
Wouldn't it be better? It's like Viper's like, wouldn't it be better if Sony went to E3?
That's true. Yeah,
I mean, look at right now. Sony hasn't even announced what games are coming out for the holiday season. They haven't even.
We said Deathloop, Joe.
Except for that. I think a lot of people are hearing about the limited storage on the system too. And they heard the rumors about a redo version of the PS5. So I think the sales have stopped because a lot of people might be holding on for the reversion of the PS5. Plus, you still have a lot of scalpers out there who aren't using the consoles, and now they're having a problem.
That's true.
Selling
That's completely true.
They're having a serious problem. Microsoft when they come out with their consoles, they're going right to the stores now. You can't. Most people are still trying to order a PlayStation online. Most people are still trying to just order a PlayStation online instead of going.
They sent out.
Everyone tells them you can't find them.
PlayStation sent out invites for people who already had a PlayStation 5.
You want to buy a second one?
To buy another one.
And they didn't get one.
Why did they even do that? I don't understand why they did
that. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, they did.
They did that because
they
don't want gamers to have it. They want somebody to resell it. That's what they want.
So here's a curious thing, real quick. So I wonder if all those scalpers have the systems, and you say, "Oh, we sold all these systems," because the scalpers did buy them, though. How many more subscriptions do you have? Because if they had all those consoles that they're holding to scalp, your subscriptions are not going up at all.
They don't care about subscriptions.
Oh no, Sony cares about that extra money every year. But you're not getting that now. Yeah, you're not getting it because all these scalpers have the systems.
See, like people don't remember.
They don't care for some reason.
I invested in the OG Xbox at a point in time.
Yes, sir.
Microsoft was first coming in to this area, to this industry, and the thing about that was, Microsoft didn't have as big of a library as PS2 did, but the games that they had there, like it was awesome. Really put them on the map. When it comes down to it, it doesn't matter like how many units sold or anything like that. If you invest in a system and you are entertained in that system, all you want them to do is make enough money to continue to grow and to give you more of the experiences that you are into. And, when it comes to Xbox, you look at, what's dropping this year with Halo Infinite, with Forza Horizon 5. You look at the games that are coming in the future, and I put, like, a bunch of game trailers that you're seeing that came from E3. Xbox seems to be a really good place to play games, man, from now going into the future. And,
man.
It is what it is, bro.
Yeah, I mean, at least Xbox showed off what they're coming out with this holiday season. Unlike PlayStation hasn't.
And then they
really
got hung
shown
for not
anything.
actually giving a date. They're like holiday when it came to Halo Infinite. They're like holiday basically.
Call
this
of
year.
Duty. We all know that's Call of Duty.
Well,
That's
right.
what
That's
they're like.
And
Okay,
we don't
when are
even-
you doing it?
They
We don't
should have
even know when
held
Call of
Ratchet
Duty's
and Clank
coming.
for the fall. They
We
should have
still-
held Ratchet and Clank for the fall. They
We
should have
still
held
have-
them something.
we still have no idea when Call of Duty's coming out. We don't even know if it's World War II or if it's fucking Timbuktu. We don't know where the fuck it is.
The world is just going to be World War II again, dog.
like we don't know when that's coming out. So of course, they're Halo's like, hey, we don't want another Titanfall 2 situation. I mean, is it going to make much of a difference? I don't think so, because there are going to be people who are huge Halo fans who are going to play on Halo.
Hold on,
Hey,
Albert. When it
people that
comes
are
down
play
to it, there's a
Call of
lot of
Duty.
Xbox. Hold on, Albert. When it comes down to it, there's a lot of Xbox gamers that believed a lot of Xbox games should have been quote unquote in the talk for Game of the Year. Just because certain games won the Game of the Year doesn't necessarily mean that every single gamer out there agrees with what went down at that point in time. Like I remember I thought Red Dead Redemption 2 was absolutely Game of the Year. It was an experience, like it was a roller coaster in terms of the experience that I got through all that. But
And what won that year? What won that year?
I think it was God of War.
Was it God of War?
Yeah, I think it was God
Yeah.
of War.
You know,
So-
I've
Well,
got this.
they didn't let Red Dead M that year because they said they published it out too late.
But at the end of the day, like when Sunset
Even though it came
Overdrive
out in
came out,
October.
I thought Sunset Overdrive should have been in the talk for Game of the Year, just for the humor, the gameplay, the graphics in terms of how colorful it was, and everything all around. I thought that should have been in the conversation for Game of the Year, but it wasn't. But it was a game that I personally thought should be
How about
in
the
there.
biggest snub in history? Jedi Fallen Order.
Ooh.
Because
Yeah.
it was
Yep.
dude.
Oh, that should have
dude.
been there.
Yeah.
Death Stranding and freaking Sekiro and all, dude. Freaking Jedi Fallen Order is an amazing game, and I'm going to replay it because of the upgrades to it. And all I say is, if you like Star Wars, for the love of God, play that game.
That pissed me off with
Yeah,
that
it's
one,
one of the best.
because they reviewed the game before it came out and gave their reviews. So if you had it reviewed, it had time to get into the awards.
Well, no, here's the crazy
Exactly.
part about that game. They said that it didn't make the cutoff, but it was nominated in another category.
Albert,
Yeah,
you're
that's
probably
right.
really right,
Yeah.
according to you,
That's
and maybe
crazy.
other people that think similarly to you. Like when it comes down to it, there's people that think that Forza Horizon 4, Forza Horizon 3, really stuck out there for a
That
lot of
was
gamers
awesome.
on Xbox. Like, this should be Game of the Year. I realize it's a racing game, but damn what they did with this game. And unfortunately, that wasn't nominated. So
Yeah,
you-
why is we've never seen when have we seen a racing game win game of the, like, dude, like there are some
game in
racing
general
games that
nominated?
absolutely deserve that. Like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
Ori and the
I
Will
don't
of the
think-
Wisps
I don't
should
not
think
be-
I've
be in the
well,
sports category either. It should
I
not
don't
be
think
in the
I've
sports
seen.
category.
I don't think I've seen a racing game get nominated.
Hey Viper, if you bring
Yeah.
up Ori and the Will of the Wisps, all of a sudden Albert's going to be like, "Oh, I meant AAA banger is what I meant. Banger."
But that's the thing. The whole banger thing is like I
Cringe.
don't. That's the thing. There's a lot of
Did
AAA
Celeste get
quote
nominated
unquote
for Game of the Year?
bangers that I don't even like as a
Didn't Celeste
PlayStation
get
game.
nominated for Game of the Year?
What happened?
I don't
Yes,
think
it
so.
was. Yes, Celeste was.
Celeste?
It was
Was it-
nominated.
It wasn't a AAA banger.
Yeah,
'80s.
I mean, look
80s.
at 1 year. What was it? It was Telltale's The Walking Dead one, and that wasn't even AAA.
Well, hey
that time.
guys, look at what's going on. The more and more that people stick with that narrative, the more and more you see games like Celeste and other games, all Hades get nominated and stuff like that. The more and more that corner that these gamers kind of like put themselves in is crumbling. Year after year, it is crumbling more and more. So take
It's like
a look at the future.
Minecraft.
Real quick on this topic. Real quick on this topic. Now, this is what bothers me with Forza Horizon 3 not getting nominated. You got games out there that come out with expansion packs, and then the game gets renominated for something the next year.
Oh my
Halo
goodness.
came out with the Hot Wheels that everybody wanted, even PlayStation people and PC people wanted to play it because it had the Hot Wheels pack. And because it was an expansion on, I hate to say this, on the Xbox, it didn't get nominated for an expansion add-on that made the game pretty much new again. So they should eliminate games with expansions if you can't give it to something like that. Because that made that game a perfect 10 when they put that Hot Wheels pack
The
out.
Hot Wheels was hot, man. Legos I can do without on the next one.
Yeah,
but
I
yo,
can't do it with Legos.
Albert, when it comes like I don't know where you're going for the vindication that you haven't been proven wrong, because I can pretty much guarantee that most people in this chat would agree that I have proven you wrong. The panel has proven you wrong. But if you don't believe it in your own mind, then you don't feel you have been proven wrong. So there's really no kind of like arguing at that point in time.
I mean, he hasn't been proven wrong in his opinion.
Yeah.
No, because it's his fucking opinion. But we also have our own opinions, and we don't agree with it.
We agree with our opinions more than your
Right.
opinions, Albert. Yo,
Exactly.
shout out to you, brother. It is good to see you here every week, man.
Really
I
got to
appreciate
say
it.
this, right? So Albert G said that Xbox winning the MPD was because PlayStation was out of stock, right? So has anyone noticed over the past several months that PlayStation has had really consistent bad news? You know, finding out that the storage issue isn't going to be sorted anytime soon. Next generation games are now going to be on previous generation games just by coincidence. And the fact is that people get nickel and dimed on PlayStation all the time and are unwilling to admit to it. PlayStation released a paddle button attachment for their DualShock 4s 2020 to only tell people the next minute that their controllers would not work on next generation PlayStations.
Yeah.
And then when we talk about these next generation
Unless
bangers,
you play PS4 games on it, you can still play with PS4 games with the DualShock 4.
let's talk about
On
the
a
whole next
PS5.
generation banger thing. It's like, why do we always equate Game of the Year to just one award ceremony? That always happens. It has to be hosted by Jeff Keighley. The Jeff Keighley show, presented by Jeff Keighley, awarding the Jeff Keighley award to Jeff Keighley. It's like, is no one
In
sick of
dedication
these? Like,
of Kojima.
is no one else sick of these like ultra overhyped, over the shoulder third person action adventure games? It's like, it's so pretentious, and these people are being nickel and dimed again for director's cuts on PlayStation when these features could be offered via a patch, which they're not, and they're charging people for features which should be free, but they're letting it pass. And it's just like, it's like you have people like Albert G in chat just talking nonsense all the time. It's like, you're here for justification. You want people to read out your name and acknowledge you. Go outside and touch some grass. You know, it's okay. It's okay. The thing is, Xbox is doing well, PlayStation's doing well, everyone's doing well, but every time Xbox gets a quote-unquote win, people come up with these bizarre theories into why they shouldn't. I saw someone yesterday claim that Xbox didn't win MPD because it's two separate consoles. That, sir, is batshit crazy. No matter what,
Oh, no.
Elvis is
What about
still
the-
alive, right?
no matter what the topic is, if Xbox is doing something good, they go to E3, put on an excellent show. And what's the topic? Are you sure we need E3? Who actually won E3? It was the gamers. It's like, fuck off, man. It's like, get off your high horses. Like, Xbox doing well, that's awesome. People should want Xbox to do well, because do you know what happens when Xbox doesn't do well? The company gets arrogant.
Yeah.
You've seen this before. PlayStation gets arrogant all the time. Seemingly so right now. Hell, you buy a PlayStation 5 right now, you can't upgrade the internal storage. You can't. And the thing is, people will continue to give them, like, you know, passes. Like, the whole director's cut situation is complete balls. Like, think about it. You buy an Xbox One X, you got free upgrades. You bought a PlayStation 4 Pro, you get upgrades. But now that you have a PlayStation 5, you have to pay for upgrades on games that already work. No. No, other companies are putting out these upgrades for fucking free. Yet PlayStation slaps director's cut on the box, put in a little bit of DLC, and bam, it's packaged as a remaster. Not even 7 months after the game actually launched. It's stupid. We haven't remasters announced for games 6 months after they originally launched. What kind of batshit crazy world are we living in? And that gets a pass. Do you know a Returnal in the UK cost almost $100? And that got a pass.
Ouch.
I'm kicking myself for even spending 70. You'll imagine fucking spending $100 on that fucking game.
Guys,
dude.
check this out. We got the first super chat of the night. Shout out to my brother Lucifer with the $6.66. Guys, you get it? You get it? Yeah. He says Xbox got my pillow guy to make a video saying his videos are better than K Mega, and he will be reinstated as king of gameplay videos. Thank you so much, Lou, for that. I'm glad you recognized the gameplay, bro. You know, it's been a long time coming, and I work hard for that. Yo, shout out for Z Black Rider hitting up the super chat. Thank you, brother. He says Albert owns too much latex. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yo, shout out to you guys. Yo, the chat.
I don't want the Jeff Keighley award show. G4 is back. I can't wait to see them do their award show.
Yeah, because they used to do
right.
their game awards show, and man, it was fucking amazing.
I know, right? And they're back now, so I've been watching some of their shows. They're amazing.
Adam Sessler's still the fucking man, dude.
Oh, for sure.
So is Pereira. Pereira's back with him too.
Yeah, dude. Dude. I watch. He made me want to play Ratchet and Clank, bro. I'm telling you,
right?
You know what I'm saying, dude?
And he told the truth about it. That's the thing. The good and the bad. That's what I liked.
There we go. True gaming journalism is back with G4, and of course, channels like this and others out there have been trying to hold it down. So hopefully we can all come together now and move forward.
You inspired G4 to come back, Xbox. You inspired G4 to come back. They watch you, Xbox. They watch you.
Dude, I can't argue with you on that, man. I kind of like having that in my mind. But guys, on that note, man, we actually went over almost a half hour over what I thought we would do for a show here. Yo, again, the chat has been absolutely outstanding. Our brothers that joined us on the panel tonight, and shout out to K Mega. I know he is dealing with some life issues, man. Some family type issues and stuff. I hope everything kind of smooths out and stuff like that. Definitely put K Mega's mom in your prayers, and kind of hope for the best and all that good stuff. I personally think I'm always a cup half full type person. I think everything's gonna work out. But shout out to K Mega. Life does come first. He didn't have GRG this past Friday, and when he doesn't do GRG, if he's not on vacation and he doesn't do GRG, that is an issue that could not be helped. So shout out to him, man. We did not have his soundboard here today, so I know Sir X-Man might have been a little upset about that. But like a 40-year-old.
Welcome to
Oh no, none of that. But like a 40-year-old with a comb over, it is time to get those plugs in. I'm gonna start with Sir X-Man. X-Man, it is always good to have you on the show. I'm definitely I want to have you on more. It is fun talking games with you,
bro. My work schedule.
Yeah,
And,
no,
you
I know. My work schedule as well, man. Yo, this Thursday I'm off of work, but next Thursday I'm gonna do the mad dash to the house to get to the show. Crispy messes with me in the DM all the time about it. Yo, but Sir X-Man, again, always a blast to talk games with you. You know, it almost feels like an Xbox Live party, and we're going in on golf, minus singing the
cleaner.
songs that we sing.
Except we keep it clean here.
Yeah, it's a little cleaner over here as well, man. I don't know, but if people want to see those interactions, they can always go to your Twitch channel. You got to let them know what you're doing in terms of streaming, and of course on social media where they could go to talk games with you, brother.
And you can find me at Sir X-Man1 or just type in Sir Space X Space Man, not Spaceman, on Twitch. Sir X-Man1 on Twitch. The other one's Twitter. Sorry, I haven't podcasted in a while. Forgive me, please. And then you can find me on Twitch at Sir X-Man1. I'm working on Shadow Warriors 2 and trying to finally beat that game. So I put notifications up on Twitch so you can come and watch me whenever I'm scheduled to play it. Usually it's later on in the evening. Sir X-Man on Xbox, been there for about 17 years, so I haven't changed anything. Come see me play with my buddy Xbox on some golf sometime, or get some Pred up in there and have him talk about Xbox. How you going to water again, dude? You know, pretty much like that. And just having fun, that's all.
How you gonna hit
That's
the
pretty
water
much it for me for now. Right, Sid, right?
Dude, how come I hit the water, but majority of the time I end up winning anyway, though. It's weird.
Yeah,
like
you
I don't
always go in the water like the last 3 holes. You just find the water sometimes.
Yo, you got
Like it's on purpose.
I know, right?
Nah, I can't claim that, man. It just happens that way. But lately I've been on a roll. My handicap is up over 11, so almost at 12 right now.
You still haven't beat my high at 13.
Well, dude, I don't play on crap gamer level difficulty, man. So
I don't play on crap gamer.
I don't
Wow.
know. Get that handicap up that high. I don't know, man.
I remember that day Crispy beat you. You was like, what?
What? I
Did he curl up into a little ball and cry?
That was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, right?
We got to get together.
Anytime the next podcast beats Bot and something, he's like, I don't remember that.
No, right?
I don't seem to nah, man. Yo, Olga
Yeah,
is a beast.
He has
Let's be real.
menopause all of a sudden, right?
Olga is a beast. Okay, that's all I gotta say about that. But
my girl was a beast.
Yeah, I gotta move on to the next person. You're gonna have me talking forever on that, man. But yo, shout out to my brother here, Jamie Moran, aka the Elusive Gamer on YouTube. One of the most patient people I know that works with me on YouTube, man. Dude, it was a pleasure getting back together and talking games. And we do have a show. It's just weird the way the planets have aligned. And, we had like 4th of July. We had there was holidays and stuff like that going, for like almost like weeks on end. There was just some reason we couldn't get together. But, we are coming back with the Series X podcast. Maybe I'll give it a nice facelift before we come back for good. But, you do have a YouTube channel, brother. You are on social media. For people who have been living under a rock, you definitely got to follow this guy in both those places. But let them know about that and what your plans are for your content moving forward, bro.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's been awesome being on the show. I haven't been on Next Podcast in about 4 months or something. But yeah, so my YouTube channel is The Elusive Gamer. I do Xbox content. I don't do fanboy stuff or anything. It's just Xbox, and I have another video coming out tomorrow. I have a podcast coming out soon once I get the whole Discord thing sorted, and that is literally just going to be just Xbox with a few, multi-platform stuff in between. Hopefully going to get that news out next week, and literally just Xbox. That's all the content I make. I have a lot of exciting stuff planned coming forward. I have this weekly idea coming for content. It's going to take like 20 hours to edit per video, which is going to be a pain, but it'll be worth it. And just Xbox content and The Elusive Gamer. And my Twitter's Jamie Moran UK.
Nice, brother. And my heart just skipped a beat real quick because Lady Foxfire asked when she can be on the show. Lady, DM me. I can have you on as soon as this coming Thursday. I swear. Let me know. I've been dying to get you on the show forever. It is really hard. You know, my people talking to your people. And, you know, just want to get something together. Come on, Foxy. Come on.
You have no people.
Join
Bot.
next
You have no
podcast.
people.
Be our guest. Be our guest.
Sunday. I think
Put
it's your
dark
night
service
Sunday.
to the test is what I gotta say. Yo, Dark Optimus, it is time for your outro. What do you got for us, bro?
Hey, you guys can find me on Twitter, Dark Artemis. You can also find me on Xbox and PlayStation at the same name. And yeah, man, it was fun. It felt like it's been like a whole couple months since I've been on here, even though it's only been like 2 or 3. So yeah, it's good to be back.
Dude, it is great to have you back, man. And you know, when we get all together and K Mega's here, kind of egging you on.
There's gonna be some white on white
There's gonna
crime
be
this Thursday, dude. I'm telling you right now.
A huge
dude.
dose of white on white crime. I can tell it's gonna be crispy, dark, and you know, K Mega is gonna instigate with a little sprinkling.
I know he's gonna be like, "Gear sucks" or something like that, and Christy's gonna go off on him and be like, "I agree."
It's gonna be with a little sprinkling of predator instigation as well. He's subtle with it. He just kind of comes in and whispers something in your ear, and you just kind of get mad at the guy next to you, man.
Calm down.
Yo.
So.
But on that note, let's go to Predator, the man, the low key instigator, the guy that you can finally hear, you know, for the majority of this show, man. I don't know what's going on with your Xbox headset, man, but it seemed to work straight that second time. But yo, let people know where they can go to talk games with you, bro. And do you have anything planned? What's going on, man?
Predator _H2S pretty much everywhere. I did a show with Noof. I think it was Sunday. Maybe it was. I don't fucking remember what night it was. I was drunk probably. It was late night, past my bedtime. Y'all know I'm in bed by like 9:30. So we were on. Dark. Yeah, I was gaming after dark. Is that Tuesdays?
Tuesday.
Yes, I think
10 p.m.
It was Tuesday.
It's a great show.
Yeah, it was a good show. We had a really good show. He was short a couple members and asked me to hop on, so we had a good time. We were on. We ran a little late, but it was a good show. You know, if anybody else that wants me to hop on their podcast, man, they can just typically hit me up, whatever, and I'm on there. So, but Predator _H2S pretty much on Xbox, on PlayStation, and on Steam. And see you guys next week. I'm gonna head out to the Come Zone.
Oh no! Oh damn, bro! Damn. And guess what? To follow that up, the man who came back home from vacation on Brokeback Mountain, it is Crispy Bob himself. Crispy, what do you got for us, bro?
Oh my God! Yes, great to be back. yeah. At Crispy Bomb on Twitter, Crispy Bomb 28 Xbox Live. Of course, you can find me on Retro Renegades Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. There are 0 topics, and we drink beer and talk shit to each other and do all kinds of fun stuff. And then I guess we're back because we moved the time and the day multiple times this week. But just saying.
Well, I thought about Saturday, but then Saturday I was also having people over, and I didn't know if they were going to be gone in time and stuff like that. And it was a birthday, so I didn't want to rush people out. Like, okay, eat the rest of that cake. Come on, man, let's go. Like,
you sure as hell took your time fucking trying to figure out if we were going to do a podcast today.
Yeah, but it's all good. I believe this week, so it'll be a double next for a week, and I'll be back 8 p.m. the prime time on the next podcast. And yes,
I know
BWB. I'll be on when I can, but I mean, every time I'm going to be on, somebody's taking hiatus, and it is what it is. Everybody's got a life. Of course, we all have a life, and that's why we're on Sunday tonight. So just think about that. Great to be here. Love the chat.
I know why Chris was in the mountains. He was showing the mountain people how to cut meat correctly. That's why he was in the mountains.
Oh,
You might have a point.
is cut meat a code phrase for? Never mind.
Oh, he's the meat connoisseur, dude. He knows how to cut some beef, don't you, Chris?
No, Sir X.
Holy
I am
shit.
the meat man.
I know.
Man.
I know.
Yeah. We know you're the meat man.
Oh wow!
Oh,
Hey,
Lord.
guys, on
Start
that
from
note,
you of all people.
on that note, guys. Yeah, I know. He knows better than most of us, right? Anyway.
I'm sorry I even said anything now.
But guys, thank you for hanging out with us. It has been a blast. Again, special time Sunday, but we are here every Thursday, 8 p.m., which of course is prime time. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe and share the show out. Let people know what type of entertainment comes from the next podcast on a weekly basis. We should have K Mega here this coming Thursday, and he brings his soundboard, and yes, a lot of white on white crime happens. And Lady Foxfire, I will get a hold of you in the DM again. You gotta come on the show, lady. But on that note, we will see you this week for the next podcast. Have a great night, everybody.
Don't only come inside enemy.
Gosh.
The voice of Master Chief, Spartan 117. And you're tuned in to next podcast. Now, wake me when you need me.